Hello, everybody. Very sorry for the late part. Well, damn it. I literally just ran in and sat down because I wanted to, or I just got done taking a lady for a walk, but that means I did not fill up my water. So I will be quiet. Let me turn that down a little bit. Lady says thank you to everybody for letting her take a walk, by the way. I'll be right back. Come on, dude. Cute outfit. Yes, I just got this from a very wonderful throne gift. So thank you to whoever got this for me. I immediately was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm wearing that today." I think it's very cute. I love this sweater. It's so cute. Thank you to whoever got it for me off of my throne list. Yep. Happy 420 Vess, I'm dead. Oh no, Juno dear, how high are you? How high? Slop gapping slop clapping tits. I have the same mic. Yeah, no, this is a solid mic. I got this I think I've had it for a year now. Damn. I'm very, yeah, I bet. Hey, Big Jerry. Looks cozy. It is. I'm on Venus right now. Jealous. Koa and I have been stopping. Ari Boy, good morning, dead domain. Excuse me. Trash Panda. Hey, DD love your glasses. Thank you very much. Hey, Velvet Fire. Oh, Marionette, hell yeah, coming in with the magic talk. Building an Abzan Tree Folk deck, not specifically for 420, but it fits the theme I deck, I guess. I say we, I built it for Koa as like a gift. I built Koa a Doran Besieged by Time deck from Lorwyn Eclipsed. And it's pretty fucking nasty. I'm not gonna lie, trees are scary now. I make decks for Koa that are so like just strong, and I forget that they're like not a new player anymore, that they know how to play Magic. So I'm just giving them ammunition to just whip my ass anytime we sit down to play. But no, I hope you're. Marionette, that's my Eldritch Being. Marionette, I have a crazy wreck for you, if you can find it. God, what is that? There it is. Baller recommendation for you. I'm talking deep cuts here, Marionette. This, like, I can't even imagine it's a 10-cent card. But with Doran, it goes fucking insane, especially if you're building around Defender. Yeah, it's a 28-cent card from Mirage from 1996. It is bonkers because it exponentially increases with Doran. Yeah, holy cow. Like it is an incredibly like it is so incredibly niche, nobody really cares about it or knows about it, but it was something I pulled from bulk at one of my local stores, and it it does work. It does work with that stupid tree man. Anywho, hey baby, Velvet Fire says watching Koa play Resident Evil 2 gave me anxiety. And Marionette says, thank you so much. Send Koa my regards. Well, I made the deck. I came up with the card. You're getting credit for my decks now. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. How is everybody else doing today? It is a gorgeous, gorgeous day out right now. Hammock 1 says, but Koa is so cute. Comer of Hestia just waiting for Pragmata in the mail. I have decided I'm going to do a little video on Pragmata, because not in like a specific reaction to any of the quote unquote controversies surrounding it, but kind of like I talked about yesterday, how it's become this bizarre flashpoint where every game needs to have a controversy. And it has been so annoying to see that like glom onto everything. Devin Deadhouse on the better side of having a sinus infection. Congrats. Outlaw Witch, yeah. The discourse around it is like disgusting. Like really disgusting. I like Pragmata well enough, but Diana really should be a young boy instead of a girl. It would solve this weird controversy. Yeah. Being able to hack the drone, she'd be able to shoot. Like her arms should turn to a cannon. Should be a doctor. Astronaut. Change his name to be more optimistic and bright. Diana should be called Mega Man. I see what you. Okay, you. Ooh, Wild Dancing. You took me on a ride there. I was like, yeah, I was with you when you said that her arm should be able to shoot. I see what you did. Oh, I have not heard. Josh Moon, the guy who runs Kiwi Farms, thinks Pragmata promotes pedophilia. I don't know about promote. Like that's a little. I think the fucking weirdos around it probably do. Not the people who made the game, but like the fucking. Oh man, I have it. Pragmata discourse has taken over my fucking feed, and it's driving me insane. Yeah, New Zealand flooding. Apparently, I have to. Jesus. All right, I am going to be right back because Miss needs to be fed. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Kevin. Spinning Chicken Nugget, thank you for $5. Sorry if this ruins the mood, but as someone going into academia, I feel like climate change should be the foremost issue of all politics by far. No, you're right. You're right. It's the kind of issue that like yeah, it sends me into deep existential depression. It really does. Anytime there's a new thing about, because I always keep up on like the shit the Trump admin is rolling back and what they're allowing, and there have been a wave of rollbacks and environmental protections lately EPA launches biggest deregulatory action in history. Dismantling climate rules. Rescinds climate endangerment finding. It's just Trump, what was it? I don't remember where it was, but there was recent. Oh, here we go. Several pipeline permits for U.S. Canada oil transportation. Like, it's truly like it is a. I know exactly what you mean, because it is a threat that it's a threat. Like, it is an implicit. It's the same thing with Alex Karp's little incel Palantir manifesto we went over yesterday. It is a threat to everybody else that they consider below them, that they consider less than, or they consider beneath them. Like, it is, they are threatening you. They are threatening not just you, not just your existence, not just to extract all labor and value and joy out of your life. They're threatening your children. They are threatening your neighbor's children. They are threatening your grandchildren. They're threatening, like, literally the existence of the planet. And I cannot go on about it for too long, because I get very first reformed real quick, right? I get real first reformed real fucking quick. Velvet Fire. On another note, I got the new Tamagotchi Life game today. Oh, congrats. I want to put you in as a character in the game. What should I name you, DD or Vesper? Probably Vesper, I'd say. But thank you. That's so sweet. Spinning Chicken Nugget, thank you for another 5. I live in Maryland, one of the most at-risk ecosystems and communities in the U.S. That's fucking bleak. I don't even know what to say to that. Like, I'm landlocked, like, where I live, but it is still so, like, seeing the effects of things elsewhere. You know, this is one of those things that, like, I think part of the massive disillusionment everybody is going through, which is the subject of the essay that I'm working on this week. I'm hoping to have it out by Friday. Do not quote me on that. This thing is going to be long. But this kind of mass depression, this hypernormalization, whatever you want to call it, we were not meant to know, or the system that we're in, which it's not right to just call it capitalism and lay it, like, it is more complicated, it is more full of malice and spite than just capitalism put on the page, right? The system that we're in, this let's call it the American system, right? Something built upon slavery and subjugation, has been so used to getting its way without any real pushback, any real recourse. And the environment is something that so many people regard as passive. Like, we judge what happens to the environment. We judge how ecosystems develop and evolve over lifetimes. So it becomes very easy for a lot of people to buy into propaganda that's like, oh, you know what? It won't be a problem in my lifetime. And it's been several consecutive generations of that thinking, of that behavior now. And until the kind of internet age where stuff became far more widespread, where now you can pick up your phone and you can see with your own eyes the effects of climate change happening right now. And God damn it, this year is going to be fucking terrible. Just like last year was. Just like every year since I've been an adult, there has been at least one cataclysmic wildfire. It is like Russian roulette with our own fucking existence. And it's like, I knowing we have this existential sort of Damocles just hanging there, And nobody is even like you aren't allowed to call it out. You're not allowed to call attention to it. That's pretty arrogant and dismissive to say it won't happen in my lifetime. Unfortunately, the average American mind defaults to arrogant and dismissive. Like that's just a fact. That's just true. That is just how people in America are raised, how we think. It is something we need to be aware of, something you need to deconstruct, something you need to unlearn. But it is true. Like we have grown, much like if you want to see the American mind on steroids, look at Israel. If you want to see the American mind where there is far less dissent that's allowed, where there is far more nationalism, more jingoism, more blatant hatred, look at Israel. Because like everything Israel is doing, they learned from us. They didn't just go to that land. They were aided. They were created by the Western world. Anyway, New Zealand capital urged to evacuate. Jesus. Holy hell. Flash flooding, road closures, and landslides. Jesus. J. Tara, 99, born and raised in Florida, 27 years, live in a small town where in a drought that's so bad the wildfires have broken out in multiple counties neighboring mine. Had to wear an N95 smoke mask. Florida is... I think about it, again, it's one of those ideas that spirals into so many other directions that I can't help but when you start thinking about climate change and then you start thinking about the impending collapse and how it's going to affect everybody, but then you think about the people who are being affected right now and the people who cannot move away and the people in places like Florida that like every year they're just going to get hit harder and harder and harder. Spinning chicken nugget, thank you for another 5. Thankfully, I'm moving to Ohio for my career in archaeology, but if I stayed, I would still need to move in my lifetime. Yeah. Hey, Ohio. Ohio's pretty safe, pretty inland. Don't got to worry about like those lakes overflowing. As far as I know, living in Wellington, no one has died, but that does not speak to all the damage. No, Gen AC, again, speaking from American experience, like there are one or two events like this a year, whether it's a tornado, typhoon, hurricane. Well, we don't have typhoons here. Hurricane. Like I hope everybody is okay because buildings can be rebuilt. People are a lot harder. Higher ground for at least the next 24 hours. Jesus. Severe weather caused flood damage overnight. Northern part. God. Well, we will try and keep an eye on that. Holy hell. We do have, however, some relatively good news. Am I on? There we go. Tim Heidecker announces his new role as creative director of Infowars. Let's go, chat. The day has finally arrived. Well, technically still not yet, but almost. We're almost there.
Hey everybody, I got some breaking news for you. It's looking seize control of Infowars in the coming days. The folks at Global Tetrahedron have asked me to step in as to run the show over there and become a big part of the future. So we're exploring. Sorry, my name is Tim.
No, hey Tim, I get it. As somebody who constantly does an Alex Jones voice, I get it.
Heidecker. I'm just here to let you know that I am now in charge of Infowars. It's an honor to take over the reins and chart a new path towards the future. We're looking forward to relaunching the site soon in the next coming months, and we're not really sure what we're going to do with it. We're talking about all sorts of ideas. We were playing around with it being a real estate broker service or a cryptocurrency exchange market. A place to store pictures, almost like a Dropbox account. Not sure. A lot of ideas, but very excited to take this on, and just want to wish everyone extend a hand of friendship and grace as we proceed through this process. It's not going to be easy, but I can assure you that we have our best intentions in mind. We are in the city of brotherly love, and I want to extend that sentiment to all our friends over there, longtime fans and consumers of the Infowars products. We've got some exciting products coming as well. We're working with a company that will enable you to turn your urine into gold. So stay tuned for more information about that, and stay with us. Stay updated on Infowars for more information.
That's so fucking funny. That's so fucking funny. Oh, man. Yeah, I believe Alex Jones is crashing out a little bit right now.
Evening, and in the last few hours, I saw headlines everywhere trending top.
This should hopefully illustrate, fill in some blanks for us. I have barely seen any of the proceedings here, so I'm very excited. Ivan Against Cuisine, thank you for following.
Of X that, well, The Onion is to take over Infowars again and make it a satirical website. They've won it. They own it. A year and a half ago, they announced they owned it. Remember, it was a fraud. There had been no bankruptcy auction. It was all a lie. This time, there's not even been a court hearing. But backed by Bloomberg and the Democrats, Ben Collins, the former MSNBC censorship czar.
Is it? God damn, he's looking rough. Is he trying to say that because the news media is reporting on it, they're just going to try, everybody's just going to pretend it's true even though it's not? Oh, before I go, thank you very much, Spinning Chicken Nugget. Thank you for $2. Before I go, that sweater is adorable. Thank you. Thanks to whoever got it for me off of my throne wish list. That is the real stylist you should be thanking. But thank you very much.
Has just announced that they're moving in May 1st. And it's all through a Texas state judge that ran the show trial a few years ago against me.
Oh, man. The Alex Jones copium? Look, chat. I know it's 4:20 right now when this is being reported. Do not just try and smoke the copium coming off of Alex Jones. You're not ready for that. You're not ready for this high. You can bottle this and sell it like fucking sunshine. This is... For those who don't know the whole story behind this, it has been a long and sordid account from Alex Jones being a manipulative daytime huckster of mineral supplements, of vitamins, mostly rebranding, repackaging, drop-shipped bullshit, while shilling far-right conspiracies. And it never mattered to people like him who they hurt, who they lied about, how their lies affected people. Which is what Neil Heslin, all of the other plaintiffs from Sandy Hook had to deal with for years. The Sandy Hook parents, after Alex Jones reported on the massacre at Sandy Hook. The Sandy Hook parents were hounded. Some of them had to move for fear of their safety because they were constantly targeted by Alex Jones and Infowars, accused of being crisis actors in a fake shooting because Alex Jones wanted to sell more bullshit to his audience and wanted to sell the idea that the government was, they were doing these false flag operations to take your guns. Buy my gold and buy my colloidal. So this bloviating toad fuck could get more rich selling more lies and more supplements. Real people went through over a fucking decade of stalking and harassment. The type of shit that people who have lost their children because of the epidemic of gun violence in this country should never have to fucking go through. And after one of the largest, I believe the largest defamation settlement ever, Alex Jones was told to pay out the Sandy Hook families to the tunes of several, hundreds of millions of dollars. Here we go. Rejects Jones appeal, $1.4 billion. I'm sorry. $1.4 billion. $1.4 billion. So, as a result, in the last couple years since that judgment, have a good one, Geoduck Geoscience. Sorry, I was just catching up on the comments. It has been a couple years now since, correctly asserted here, since Bloomberg, the Bloomberg-funded Onion, fraudulently claimed they had won a bankruptcy bid to take over Infowars. Now, I guess we're probably not going to find it. Let's go to NPR. Let's go through the, hopefully NPR has the full thing. Yeah, here we go. $1.3 billion judgment they won against Jones for spreading lies. Excuse me. Okay. The families, quote, took on Jones to stop him from inflicting the same harm on others by using his corrupt business platform to torment and harass them for profit, said Chris Mattei, one of the attorneys for the families. When Infowars finally goes dark, the machinery of lies that Jones built will become a force for social good, thanks to the family's courage and the Onion's vision, persistence, and stewardship. Excuse me. God, I just have... Last thing I ate. Ethan the Lycan, just swing by Infowars is done forever? Yes. Well, so here's the thing. Oh, I'll get to that in a second. 8 years, almost to the day after the Sandy Hook parents first filed suit against Alex Jones, they'll finally get some justice, even some money, said Ben Collins, CEO of The Onion. On its website, Monday, The Onion posted a satirical message from the fictional CEO of its parent company, Global Tetrahedron, Bryce P. Tetrader, stating a dream is finally coming true. The Democrat Party disinformation publication is publicly bragging about its plan to silence Alex Jones's Infowars and then steal and misrepresent his identity. On a podcast in March, Jones alluded to the impending demise of Infowars, saying, "We're getting shut down. We beat so many attacks, but finally we're getting shut down like the middle of next month before insisting we're going to be fine." So, he knew this was coming, and this is just cope. Because if you, again, like I said, Alex Jones, a huckster who never met somebody he didn't want to try and swindle. His game is to keep the ball rolling. He cannot just give up. He cannot just roll over. He cannot just fade into obscurity. He cannot go into exile. The thing he has to do is to make it always part of some plan, some conspiracy, some judgment, some great globalist plot to take down fucking Infowars. Real NIFB parody. They hosted the NIFB again? Oh, that doesn't fucking surprise me, honestly. But anyway, let's get back to, really quick, the goods. And I need to stress before we watch. If you don't know about Alex Jones, you may be tempted to give some level of sympathy, but I cannot stress enough, this is somebody who genuinely is not remorseful about any of the pain he's caused. He is not remorseful about any of the lies he's told. He is not regretful of any of the people who have been hurt because of his actions. And you should take that into your calculus when thinking, oh gosh, maybe this person does deserve some sympathy. Because I can assure you he absolutely does not. The Prez Rickard, Alex son Rex has been freaking out about this on Twitter. He called Trump a hoe. Let's go. That's so good. That's so funny.
HBO fully produced show trial that she's just saying it's yours even though it's still on appeal and legally you can't do that. And I noticed the receiver that she appointed won't pay the electric bill, won't pay any of the bills, even though he gets the money. There's plenty of money to pay the bills. So they're already like suffocating us. And you see the headline on X and everywhere else that, yep, it's theirs. So if there's any justice, they're going to get in big trouble for this. We're going to file a whole bunch of actions against it. It's just absolutely out.
How drunk do you think he's going to be? So people remember we watched a little while ago the Tim Pool video. The video where Alex was on Tim Pool's show and was like so drunk if that person came into your bar, you have a legal responsibility if you're a bartender to like call an ambulance. Like he was fucked up. And I think like, what was that, a month or so ago? I think that was about when he probably would have learned or was talking about InfoWars shutting down. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a lot of what it had to do. That, and then, yeah, somebody else talked about how he's had a fucking rough month. Oh, Johnny Viral. There you go. First, he gets cucked by Trump. Roger Stone tells him to his face to suck it up. Then another cucking from Trump. And finally, the Onion wins. It's bonkers. It couldn't have happened to somebody who deserved it more, honestly. Honestly.
Outrageous that in the year 2026, this type of crap goes on. But President Trump, through Todd Blanche, the Democrat Party lawyer, deputy head of the AG then, now the DOJ head, killed Ed Martin's investigation into their operations, their fake auctions, the DOJ funding the fake lawsuits against me.
Oh, that's good. That's funny. That's fucking funny. He is playing. He's tying Trump to the Democrats. He's trying. Oh, you're good. You're good, Alex. Oh, you are good. You are fucking good. Watch. Just wait for what he says. I haven't watched this, but I have a feeling I know what he's gonna say.
They have all the documents. They killed that 6 months ago. I didn't blame Trump for that. But I do now blame Trump for coming out and openly endorsing their lawsuits and saying I deserve it, when it was the very same law firms that sued him, Paul Weiss, that are running all of this. That's what represents the onion turds. So Trump has now openly joined forces with the Democrat Party.
What did I say? Chat. Oof. That is delicious. That's delicious. It really is. It is so perfect to be forced for somebody as vile, as vitriolic, to be pushed away from all of these forces that he helped enact upon the world. And now, in the end, he is only left with the possibility of the only way he can move forward is to say, I know, secretly, the forces I've been helping for years, the Democrats got their hands in them. Because you can never admit you're wrong. If you're Alex Jones, you're never wrong. You can be duped. You can be swindled. You can be tricked by people like Trump, but you're never wrong when you say that Donald Trump has joined forces with the Democrats. Yeah, no, literally, Lenny Cat knows what to do. Trump is a deep state Democrat plant. Like, ooh. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Going back up really quick. You saw what the new Hungary prime minister said about the LGBTQ community. Probably nothing good. Gender movements. No, I haven't. Do you have a link to what it was? Anyway, let's spin this conspiracy for me. Tell me how Trump is secretly in league with the Clintons, please.
To shut down InfoWars, and it's just beyond disgusting. Absolutely blows me away. But I hope Grok can get it right. I hope everybody reading at the top of X with tens of thousands of posts can understand that when you go watch Ben Collins, the podcast today, he goes, I own the studios. We're in control now. Well, they have a hearing about it on the 30th, and we'll be challenging that.
Yeah.
They're not even allowed to do that because it's still on appeal. They'll have massive damages against them if it gets overturned, which it will. The Supreme Court's already signaled that in Texas. But they don't care, folks. This is the insanity of these people. But regardless, they tried to take my Real Alex Jones handle on X. Remember, Elon had to come in and block that because X wouldn't be safe if he didn't. So you'll be able to follow us there at Real Alex Jones on X and at AJN Live and on
X wouldn't be safe if X would. God, that is the. No, that's the frame. That's the frame right there. That's the one. That is in between the acting, in between the bravado, in between everything else. This is the true face of Alex Jones. Like, it's some real Ozymandias shit. Some real gaze upon my works and despair. Lady Sylvian and Punk Corpse, thank you both for following. That's... Whew. Let me go. We got a couple other things. Pablo Torre finds out. So this, I guess, is how the Onion won the InfoWars sale and shut Alex Jones up for good. It's even funnier because Bigly, the new company that has his studio and show, isn't run by him. So he's going to go from running the show to just being an employee, a highly expendable one. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Pablo Torre Finds Out. I am Pablo Torre, and today we're going to find out what this sound is.
Oh, we're getting shut down. We beat so many attacks, but finally we're shutting down like the middle of next month.
Right after this ad. I'm really proud of you. What?
Okay. I didn't. Christian Garcia, going back to the Hungary prime minister. In Hungary, no one will be judged or persecuted for loving differently. Okay, Hungary prime minister, let's go. I mean, like, look, that's literally one issue, and I know nothing else about the dude, so. But, like, damn, that is such a fucking that is such a massive change from Orban. Huh. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna go fill my water, and I'll be right back.
You've done. I'm not kidding. Like, it's really hard to do what you've done here, and
Thank you, dude.
it's hard to do journalism at all. And you bet on yourself, and you hit the jackpot. So I'm really proud of you.
I think both of us have probably felt this, where it's like, man, the bar's real low.
It sure is. There's nobody's picking up the phone anymore to do any kind of journalism. It's crazy.
It's a market opportunity as well as the problem.
The actual reporters left are the kids who are currently in journalism school because they're being told like old-fashioned tricks on how to do stuff.
Right.
Like they realize like that's actually the thing that's going to get me a journalism job.
Yes.
Is scoops.
It's actually
information.
breaking
Yeah,
news.
exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
what
I know.
an accurate, descriptive summary of the thing we're here to talk about.
Yep.
And by the way, the exclusive big announcement you're here to make with us here
Yes,
today.
yeah.
So thank you,
of course.
Ben Collins, for doing that. For those who are not familiar with your current job, what is the title that you have?
I'm the CEO of Global Tetrahedron. It's primarily a puppy mill. That's how we make most of our money, a clandestine puppy mill. We also print a newspaper called The Onion, which you may have heard of. Good newspaper.
It's so good, I dare say, that you've become the foremost antagonist of the one and only Alex Jones.
So, chat. Before we do that, before we get into the background of this, how this happened, I need to show you this. Shirtless Alex Jones jumps in to explain the truth about the deceivers at the Onion. They're in deep shit because you're wearing my shirt doesn't mean you're me.
Off of Alex Jones's back at this point, and it's a sad thing to see. Are you an employee of The Onion now, Alex?
No, we laugh about this, but a year and a half ago, they announced that they now owned us.
Yep.
And it was all a fraud. This time they've had a court hearing, and they're announcing they own us, which shows with this judge that's been super corrupt.
Fuck, dude. Whoa. He is fucked up. That is... Jake Hung, where'd I get the sweater? I got this from a wonderful gift that I really love. Yeah, somebody gave it to me from the Throne List, so thank you. Robin Xavier, also, thank you very much for 6 months in a row. They literally took the shirt off his back. Why is he nude? So, okay, another thing you need to understand about Alex is that he's an attention whore, which means he's not just an attention whore. He understands, he's something slightly more dangerous than that. He's an attention whore who understands what gets him attention. In that he knows that he is the meme guy. He knows that his mainstream pop culture contribution is shit like the video of talking about turn the freaking frogs gay. Like, he is aware of the stuff he does, bringing in novelty views like a sideshow circus. And you need to understand that he really does consciously try to recreate these kind of like viral moments. Yenzo, they were joking about being a puppy mill. They're a satirical outlet. The guy who bought it is not a real puppy mill. I promise you, it's not a real puppy mill. They were being sarcastic. Draxus Sorsco, you look really pretty today. Thank you. Yeah, Lennon Cat knows what to do. He's the kid in class that would make a bunch of noise or loud jokes just to get people to look at him. Very much. One of the things, so it doesn't happen too much on his show, But he's done it a lot in the past where he will go on to Joe Rogan's show or go on to, Mike Tyson's podcast or whatever the fuck, and talk about how, it was the same thing with Joe Rogan's when he was on fucking Tim Pool talking about Joe Rogan's vagina. Like, he's not saying it because he necessarily thinks it's funny. He's saying it because he knows it's outlandish. He knows it's crass. He knows it's crossing some kind of embarrassing line and will get him attention. And that's really part of, I think, again, I know I just talked about reserving your sympathy, but I think there is a difference between that and the larger empathy for him as a person. The real tragedy of Alex Jones is that he is somebody who never found where he belonged, I think, or where he wanted to be, because he has worn so many different disguises over the years. He has masqueraded and played at being a informative cultural commentator, a incisive, investigative, on-the-ground journalist, the kind of person who gets, he has secret connections in the government. But at the end of the day, I think the thing that really crushes him, the thing that is behind so much of these weird outbursts, these weird just behavioral patterns he gets into, his very obvious struggles with alcoholism, is the fact that he knows he's never going to be more than a fucking joke. And he has wasted his life trying to turn that shock value into anything of substance. It's I don't know. Yeah, Alex Jones on the Mike Tyson's podcast is the definition of surreal. It's, yeah. Like, it is kind of sad. In a much grander narrative sense, I feel. As opposed to, again, Alex Jones as a human, as a person, individually, sucks shit. But to look at literally anybody's life and put it into these terms, it's impossible to call it a tragedy or a comedy, because it's equally both. The two aspects feeding into each other all the time. Like, it is the ultimate. Alex Jones's life is the ultimate tragic comedy. Nehemia, thank you for another $5. Magar also went on state media controlled by Orban allies to say, "I'll be shutting you guys down," and told the president he expects his resignation. God damn. Okay.
Hey, Judge, it's already a done deal. But don't worry, we got a bunch of legal avenues. It'd be one thing if they just shut us down, but they are telling the New York Times, and I've seen more videos, that they're going to misrepresent. Have you played the trailer?
Yeah.
They're going to misrepresent that they're us to
Harrison Smith is a little sniveling Nazi fuckhead. But again, no sympathy for him as a person. But I do have a little bit of sympathy for anybody being put in this awkward position with a boss. Because, like, damn. Like, what do you, if your boss comes in like this, probably reeking of alcohol, and starts talking to you, mumbling and slurring, shirtless, and I'm going to say sweaty, and under the studio lights, I'm going to say sweaty, about how, no, we're not actually being shut down. It's, it's actually the globalists, and they're working with Donald Trump. This isn't, I don't know, like, what do you fucking do?
confuse people and, quote, rip people off like Alex Jones did. They're going to make money. The whole thing's about defaming me. You can't take something over and then act like you're somebody, even if you say it's a parody. You can do a parody of somebody, but none of you took something from them.
Nobody, to my knowledge, I mean, I guess we'll go and look at that, but nobody said that. What he is probably trying to do, again, there are these little things that you hear over and over, these little patterns you notice in Alex's behavior. And one of his trademarks is to take one thing and blow it so far out of proportion, misrepresent it to his audience. So the Onion can talk or say something about, like, we'll make a parody of InfoWars. And Alex will come in and try and sell to his audience that, see, they're gonna try and say this is Alex Jones's InfoWars, and they're gonna try and make fun of it. Like, that's not all what they're fucking saying, ding dong. You know that. Your audience doesn't, and that's what you're banking on. That's really all the secret to success for these people, is to just cultivate an audience that will believe you over anything else. You're good. You're golden. Anthropology. Harrison knows he'll never be able to work in broadcasting anywhere else. He can't even cut it in the griftosphere. He's chained to Alex. Yeah, Karen, no, you're good. Go ahead and post your thing, and if you can pin it, go ahead on Twitch. And everybody give a couple bucks to Karen now. I have to feed Miss one more time. I'm gonna press play. I'll be right back. She's yelling at me again.
Right. We've already checked with lawyers, so they're in deep shit. I'm already suing the Democrat Party law firms. Already got civil rights lawsuits. So you think, look, just because you're wearing my shirt, don't mean you're me. So let's be 100% clear about that. And so you guys just keep laughing, just like you did a year and a half ago, or it was November 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So is that about a year and a half?
Yeah, this is a story from December 10th. Sale of Alex Jones InfoWars to the Onion rejected, and I'll get into this. And
So just, but yeah, they
yeah,
need
real
to be
NFB.
us.
I double
to
stream
confuse
to
people.
Twitch
By the
and
way, it's a
YouTube.
total failure. He goes, we're the 5th biggest newspapers. That's a lie. Newspapers are all dead. Okay.
I looked it up. The Onion gets less than half of the traffic that InfoWars gets.
And remember, they said they were going to beat Charlie Kirk. Remember when he died? They said we're going to misrepresent fake quotes of him. This is what the left do. They try to silence you, then they misrepresent who you are. They're body snatchers. They're skinwalkers. They literally take your skin. This is going to backfire big time, folks. Anyways, but hey, you may try to take our skin. You may try to take our clothes, but we're still the real InfoWar. And everybody's going to understand that the InfoWars is a generic term. A website doesn't matter. Everybody's an info warrior.
This is... I don't think he'll go out like Bill Hicks, necessarily. But if Alex Jones were to take the low-tier God way out, let's say, I wouldn't be surprised. And I don't mean that in a way. I genuinely, I don't want anybody to do that. I don't want anybody to have to live with that. But I've seen people in these straits. There is erratic behavior that you recognize when you've seen people do this. Wait, did Bill Hicks die of cancer? Who am I thinking of? No, wait. Bill Hicks died in the fucking shootout. Was it cancer? Who the fuck am I thinking of? Bill Cooper. God damn it. Yes, I'm thinking of Bill Cooper. Fuck. You're right. Thank you, Bunsmoke. Thank you. Who else said it? Somebody else said it. Ooh. Spook327. Thank you. Mitch Hedberg. What color are my eyes? They're kind of like green, yellow, green, blue. It depends on the light.
Don't let them convince you of this. It'll blow up big time in their face.
Did you see the Ben Collins video where he said,
One Monster Cat, thank you very much for following and subbing to Prime.
"As we're in an information war"?
No.
Yeah, it's an old video where he was doing it at the National Press Club, and he says, "We're in an information war right now, and the truth is hard to find." So they've lost the information war, and so they've resorted to lawfare.
And then take it on our skin.
Yeah.
Just because you got a man's coat don't mean you're them.
No, it's ridiculous. And again, yeah, they just do it.
Forget.
They get away with it.
He is so. All right, give me 1 second, chat. Sorry, everybody. I had to go kiss my baby. And by baby, let's just say my wife.
The Paul Weiss law firm ran all this.
Awesome, Stella. Thoughts on contact lenses to change eye color? I've never. So I'm considering doing a. I'm like planning out the cosplays I want to do next. I'm considering doing a Lewin from the last couple Magic the Gathering sets. So I'm looking into black contacts for the first time, and that is not gonna work out, I think, the way I necessarily want it to. So I'm the wrong person to ask. Yeah, he looks fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
Just because you got a man's coat don't mean you're them.
No, it's ridiculous. And again, yeah, they just do it.
Forget.
They get away.
How do you get this like penguin ass build? Gorgonzola, thank you for subscribing. Beer, maybe. How can you say this is ridiculous right next to the shirtless man, but not talking about the shirtless man? True.
Away with it.
The Paul Weiss law firm ran all this. Trump settled with them. They settled, and now Trump's on their side.
Yep.
So, hey, feel good, guys. You're on Trump's side. You said it was so bad.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly it. They are literally on the bad guy's side. So, yeah, it's going to fail.
Wait, we don't own the AlexJonesStore.com. That's how they back us. That's how they keep us on air. You can't get that.
Yeah, so as you guys know, again, the AlexJonesStore.com, that is the only way that we get funding. If you go there, we stay on air. If you don't,
beer plus steroids. Yeah, there's probably some HGH and shit like that.
we go away. That's how it works. The Onion cannot make us go away. Okay? The lawyers cannot make us go away. The only way we go away is if you don't support us.
And people get confused. It'll be the Alex Jones Network. New news sites. You'll hear about it all soon. All ready to launch. Same people. Harrison, we're going to expand all of it.
Yep, absolutely. And we've been waiting for this, y'all. We have been under a wet blanket of bankruptcy for a long time. It has severely restricted what we've been able to do. We're about to explode. We're about to launch, folks. We are on the launch pad.
Fucking incredible. Pivoting right to the supplements. He trained Harrison good. Let's go back over to the story of how it all happened. You know it smells
When
crazy.
you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball, the Lady Gaga, the Justin Bieber. Now, the globalists are pouring on all the heat they can, pushing their hive mind, Borg, collectivist, zombie public system. I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
God damn, that was like only a decade ago. He genuinely looks like it's been 2 or 3. Now, this is more than a decade, but still. Kira Gen Mystic, thank you for streaming tonight. Had a bad day in India. Well, thank you. I'm glad I could be here for you. I hope you enjoy us laughing at Alex Jones.
Do you understand that? Serious crap. Liberal.
See, again, the problem is it's never the things he want to go viral that do, because this fucking clip went triple platinum. Just was everywhere, especially in leftist spaces. Hilarious. Was absolutely not something fucking Alex Jones was like, yeah, this is going to be a banger.
Liberal. Happy fun, la la la. Human smuggling, fentanyl deaths, forced government euthanasia.
Patriot. Vampire. Nationalist. Mental retard. Eugenicist. A scared man. Really? Retard. Traitor. Vampire. Next level. Moses.
I don't know if I've given enough consideration to vampire as a really key feature of his work.
Yeah, 50% of people are vampires, by the way, referring to that clip.
Apparently. By the way, the visuals on where he's saying a bunch of that stuff from, there is a very familiar microphone that has kind of been an archetype for all podcasters, let's be honest, since then. It's from inside of this bunker at this apparently undisclosed location in the woods of Austin, Texas. And that is where the headquarters of Infowars are located.
Yeah. Guess how much rent is there, by the way?
What's rent run Alex Jones?
$75,000 a month. I swear to God.
We're going to get into the finances, the finer economic data points around this, but Infowars is the foremost conspiracy newsroom. Scare quotes around the word news, obviously. The scariest quotes around the word news. It's been described by one of Alex Jones's former employees who has written since a book about...
All right, let me... Oh, one-winged Alex.
Liberal.
Soul Pelt Dude, thank you for $2. I hope they give Dan from Knowledge Fight his desk. If the Onion has anything to do with it, I really hope they do. I hope they fucking bring in Knowledge Fight. I hope they make a Knowledge Fight show. That would be the thing to do, honestly.
Liberal. Happy fun, la la la. Human smuggling, fentanyl deaths. Happy fun, la la la. Human smuggling, fentanyl deaths. Liberal.
I love that they use the fucking PS2 track. That's so good.
Liberal. Happy fun, la la la. Human smuggling, fentanyl deaths. Happy fun, la la la. Human smuggling, fentanyl deaths. Liberal.
That's very good. That's very good for me. All right.
about his experiences as quote-unquote cult-like. And Alex Jones himself chooses a different term to describe it in a tweet from 2016. He says, and you've certainly seen this photo before.
Yeah.
There's a war on for your mind.
Did I say PS2? I'm just used to saying PS2.
Infowars.com is the 21st century cavalry, ! And beneath which is a photo of what?
That's a Putin-esque Alex Jones shirtless atop a horse. I would call him, barrel chested is a really nice way of putting it, right? Bowling ball chested is probably another way of putting it as well.
Yes, and he's wearing jeans.
He is wearing jeans, yes.
Bowling ball
RFK Jr. was
chested
wearing
is
jeans and
fucking
exercising.
funny.
Alex
Yes.
Jones was the Venn diagram of all of these conspiratorial scammer characters. And his website, by the way, like the headlines over there, I mean, there are some classics like Lady Gaga halftime show, a satanic ritual, bombshell, Barack Obama conclusively outed a CIA creation, NWO, New World Order, obviously, opening thousands of portals to ancient demons.
See, it bears repeating that throughout the aughts, Alex Jones was regarded as a joke, or at best, a curiosity. For the people with interest in the esoteric or the occult, he was at best, for people who weren't really familiar with his show, he could be put on a pedestal, not even a pedestal, put on a shelf next to like George Norrie. Right? And that's not talking about like the reprehensible shit he said. That's just talking about the broad audience he appealed to across the airwaves, what people knew about him. And it should have been one of the most chilling indictments of where we were as a culture when he interviewed Trump in Trump's first presidential election. When Trump gave legitimacy and airtime to somebody who had only ever been known as a liar, a grifter, a con artist, and again, at best, to most people who had a positive idea of who Alex Jones was, a curiosity. Looks like a rubber glove shoved with mashed potatoes. Meredith and Haven, thank you for $5. Terrible joke for you, DD. A naked man fell into a pile of glitter. Pretty nuts, huh? Hey, babe. Baby. They didn't want to react. All right, I'll be right back.
Top insider confirms Hillary odor problem, comma, actual demon, question mark. When did you first encounter Alex Jones?
This is not going to be a fun story quickly. I'm going to go back into time, and it's going to be sad, and then I'll come back to the fun part. Okay. So I was working at the Daily Beast. I was a news editor, and one day I woke up, and my friend's girlfriend was shot and killed on live TV. This was in Roanoke, Virginia. Her name's Alice Parker, and my friend Chris Hurst. We had what we call a podcast or something together in college. You know, he was an anchor at this news station in Roanoke, and his girlfriend was out in the field, and a disgruntled ex-employee put a GoPro on his head, and I think it was the first ever live streamed murder of anybody.
I remember this. You had no idea that you had a relationship.
Yeah. I freaked out, and I just left the newsroom. My editor was like, "Get out of here, you're too close to this." And I was like, "You're right." But over the next few days, I started to look up all of these people who were calling it a false flag. Because at that point in time, if you Googled his name, the very top things would be like, he is a CIA plant, she never existed, this is a false flag, gun control thing. These are all notes that stank heavily of Alex Jones, right? So over the next few weeks, I did a story where I just called everybody who made those claims. And I remember one guy, I would let them talk for half an hour at the end, and I would just say, "I'm just letting you know, I hear you, but I know Chris Hurst. If he's a CIA agent, he sucks. He's a terrible fantasy baseball player. He's garbage at this. He's a real man." And they would just say, "Well, that's just what I believe. I just believe this." And really, at the end of the day, it comes from the culture that Alex created.
Right. The idea that there was, in fact, video.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And despite that,
yes,
you could deny what seemed to be,
Jinx
when we were growing up, the most undisputable way to convey reality.
Well, so my previous job, I used to cover...
He did, in fact, threaten to eat... Well, I don't remember if it was a leftist specifically, but it was... He did... Who did he threaten? He threatened to eat somebody's ass. Oh, but it was a... I say but like I'm going to make a fucking excuse that's going to make that. No. Okay, listen here. Hold on. Yeah, he did say that, but no. He was going on some fucking tirade about how society is going to collapse into cannibalism. Is it left? It might have been leftist ass. But it was, I need to specify, it was not specifically just eating a leftist ass to eat it. His neighbor's ass. His neighbor's ass was on the menu for the apocalypse. Yeah.
Conspiracy theories. And so I saw that Alex Jones had a guy on his show that said they're doing child sex trafficking on Mars. Like they're bringing children up there to Mars. And I just did some quick math, and I was like, by the time they get up there, though.
Oh, my God. Ronan the Barbarian. I remember my father listening to this windbag while reading Drudge Report. It's fun that he has switched over time. He used to be all about Drudge, which I don't know if he's back on the outs with the Drudge Report anymore. Because if I remember right, he was going against Drudge for a while because Drudge was against Trump. And now I'm like, who's friends with who anymore? Come on, what are we going to do? Talking about making that filet a neighbor. 15 days without food and people turned to cannibalism was his claim. That's not true.
They're like 25 at least. Like they're like, I don't know what number you're getting at here, but like they're fully adults by the time they're up at Mars. So my editor was like, you should call NASA.
What was NASA's response when you fact-checked the math?
They thought I was just an idiot calling them, and they were trying to be nice to me. And then they got so mad. Like, once the story came out, they were like, I didn't know I was on the record. All this stuff was terrible. And I did feel bad for them. But the headline was basically like, NASA : there is no child sex trafficking on Mars or something. Had Alex Jones stuck to this kind of there's no problems. This is great. Amazing content.
See, and that's like something that they could do better than Alex Jones. That is something they could actually take over the InfoWars name and make it a place for. I was bitching a little while ago about Blake Gunnell's Ego Bomb is quoting Alex Jones. What's my favorite Wu-Tang member? I'm trying to think of what, probably Method Man. But like trying to pick one that isn't problematic is rough. I don't know. I like the RZA. I really love the RZA's production. I love his like personal projects and stuff. I think that's fun as hell. Yeah, like Ghostface is another one that I'm like Supreme Client's hell fucking whips. But he is also, yes, an asshole.
The thing that he ends up doing, though, is not just do 9/11 conspiracy theories and Pizzagate.
Yeah.
It gets to the subject that is at the heart of this entire saga that you've been immersed in.
Yeah.
It's a Sunday of sorrow for Newtown, Connecticut, and for the nation. This afternoon, hundreds of residents walked the road to Sandy Hook Elementary School, where, on Friday, 26 people were murdered.
The majority of those who died today were children. Beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old.
Sandy Hook is a synthetic, completely fake, with actors, in my view, manufactured. There's a cover-up, there's actors, they're manipulating, they've been caught lying. What do you do when they've got the kids?
It is truly crazy how much he has changed in the last couple years. Like, god damn, dude. Ugh.
Kids going in circles in and out of the building with their hands up. I've watched the footage, and it looks like a drill.
How do you describe what we just heard there in terms of where it fits into his sort of oeuvre?
It's a harassment campaign against
Mothram
private
VNT,
citizens who've gone
Mothram
through
VNT,
the
thank
worst
you very
thing that
much.
you can ever imagine, right?
Mortham VT,
You know, I've come
sorry.
to call it like the double
read
whammy of American
names too
life.
quick.
It really only happens here, where one day you drop them off at school and then they no longer exist as human beings anymore. And
IRJ 531, I hate how long it took for this to sink him. I mean, it's one of those things where I think Alex Jones was never going to go down by bankruptcy, right? Like that, it's just not the way legal, unless you're going to prison for something, it's not the way legal consequences work. It goes through, especially when you have money for lawyers and all this other shit, and you have multiple LLCs and companies, and you're shifting money around like Alex Jones was. It takes a while by design for this stuff to finalize and go through. So it's not surprising that we're hearing more about this finally 2 years on. The thing I think that is more, again, degrading and personally devaluing to his name and brand is going to be the death by 1,000 cuts that comes with what he has done to himself. Because now he is put in this unenviable position where he is beset on all fucking sides. He has officially decided to, Trump is bad. Trump is the enemy. Trump, like you can't come back from that. In the past, he has really tried to tiptoe up to this line and be like, oh, well, I don't like everything Trump does, but like he's big Americana. He can't go back from that now. So he is isolating the diehard MAGA to a lot of other MAGA who are fucking decompressing, coming out of the Trump movement. A lot of other right-wingers are probably looking at Jones with suspicion along with everybody else because like, oh, yeah, so all of a sudden you're just not on board with the thing that you helped people with for a decade of your life. And then that will call into question the other things he's lied about, and people will hopefully have their kind of be able to reframe and re-question things from there as part of their own process of learning and growing. But other than that, like, he is not somebody who he doesn't have any value in the mainstream conservative movement anymore. Like, anything you would want, anything somebody coming up now, a young person, a hip, cool person would want, they're not going to get it from Alex Jones. Like, if there is a person, a young right-wing radical out there, they're going to go to somebody like Nick Fuentes or Sneeko or Aiden Ross or any of those dullards. They're not going to go to this old fucking dude selling probiotic tinctures, right? He's a snake oil salesman. And that's what, like, his fate is ultimately to be run out of every town once people recognize who he is. Once people recognize, hey, aren't you that fucker that kept selling poison, that kept lying to people, that kept stealing people's money? And eventually, you run out of towns that won't recognize you. And that's what Alex Jones is coming to right now. Adrian Harper, thank you very much for subscribing.
And then for the next few years of your life, there is an economy around trying to make it clear that your child never existed at all. And by the way, you deserve harassment because you're in on it.
Right. You're a crisis actor.
You're a crisis actor. You're part of it. And a big part of this to me was always, when I say the double whammy of American life.
Did Jones sell dick pills? I don't know if he personally anthropophagy. Honestly, you should have stuck with Ron and Rand Paul. Probably, actually. If he had stuck by his kind of, the libertarian leanings and all that stuff and not gone so far. Because the thing is, for a long time, lies and shit aside, he had a fucking good gig going. He told his lies. He fucking made hay out of every minor story that crossed the desk, tied it all into these globalist conspiracy plots, and would occasionally talk about like space ghosts and seeing God and shit. Right? And he fucking cashed his checks and kept going from there. But he latched on to Trump. Like I said, with the knowing what goes viral and stuff, he understands, well, I don't know, understand is a strong word. He's able to connect the ideas that, hey, Trump got me a lot of attention. I'm going to keep doing that. These Trump people, they have a lot of fucking money. They're throwing money at this shit. Death of Atari, where do you see right-wing commentators like Alex and Nick in a post-Trump era? How many do you think are going to drop off the face of the earth, and who do you suspect are going to take their place? So this is kind of what I was talking about with Alex Jones. I genuinely don't know with Alex Jones. There is, a lot of people hate him, but there has never been somebody who has carved quite a path through American culture. While I think kind of exposing so much of the American id to our kind of national consciousness as we, look at and dissect everything around him and Sandy Hook and all this shit, I don't know where somebody like Alex Jones goes. Now, Nick Fuentes, well, first off, Meredith Navin, thank you for another 5. Another terrible joke, DD. Do not be afraid of a 6-month home renovation. Those 12 months will be the most fulfilling 2 years of your life. Do you get it, baby? Yeah, me too. And no more, I'm good. Sorry, I'm catching up on those. Violet left. They won't drop off. They'll do what they did in the Obama years. So, Nick, I don't... Fuentes is propped up by parasociality. And while Alex Jones is in a prison of his own making, Fuentes is in a similar prison. They just come at it from different kind of different ends of their careers. Where Fuentes started off being a firebrand and saying shit about Hitler and, doing the racist Nazi basement dweller thing. Thank you, baby. You want a little bit? You want a little bit of my juice? You can have a little bit. Thank you, my love. Where Alex, mostly coasted, so to speak, until Trump, and has gotten increasingly more. Well, I don't know. He's been on now. There was a turn in the last decade for Alex Jones. There really was. Alex Jones is going to become a Caleb Maupin Nazbol. Oh my gosh. Burger King. Let's go. Caleb Maupin is somebody I haven't thought about in so long. Whoa. It's like hearing the name Peter Coffin. It's like hearing a spell from a dead language. Speaking names from a fucking forbidden grimoire over here. Joey J, 6808. Anyone know if Fuentes gets funding? Excuse me. Yeah. There was just I think it was New York Times. There was just a profile dropped about the amount of money people fucking send to Nick. Like hundreds, if not thousands. Like, and I'm sure he gets dark money on the back end, but he makes fucking bank from donos because everybody wants to get, on the feed. Everybody wants to be shouted out by him. That's why I was talking about. Nick survives on this kind of parasociality where so many people have glommed onto him. Nick is the fractal through which they can view the ideology that they've, ascribed to themselves, mostly. Where people will go and they go to Nick and Nick tells them the way the world is. It's not too different, I suppose, from, I guess, the regular way Americans view preachers. Or in past times, like evangelical preachers kind of had that similar role, right? Hello, El Salve. Yeah, Jones was way more of the Art Bell game pre-Trump. Like, there was a lot of stuff through the Tea Party, through Glenn Beck, through the Obama era. There was a lot of, far right and radical stuff. It was the, that growing nascent pre-Gamergate time where a lot of this stuff was bubbling under the surface. But for the most part, he was something else. Yeah, Johnny Viral. Nick hates his audience but knows he can't escape them or he goes bankrupt. No, and it's not that I think Nick genuinely has learned or wants better. I think he has. So here's the thing. I think Nick Fuentes is a bit of a paradox unto himself. Because while I don't think he is a liberal or a leftist or anything remotely progressive, the most I would probably give him is, yeah, he's gay. I do think that Nick is at least smart enough to have realized how toxic and terminal, how just focused on oblivion, on nothing but darkness and hate and emptiness, the movement that he has created is. Right? I think that he has realized that his fascist world order will never come to be. And it is a movement that is full of losers and tryhards. And I can see that giving him like a crisis. That being said, I think at his core, he is still a selfish, impudent, hateful little shit. Like, I think regardless of what personal revelations he has, he's not going to change who he is at his core. Like, it is one of the things I think that is a gift, in a weird way, for being able to study people, is being able to see late teens, early 20s, people who have not gone through, who aren't trained in front of a camera, learn how to interact and navigate the world on the other side of a camera, because you get a look at their most pure, unfiltered, often uncensored self. That, like, you can go back and look at Destiny. You can go back and look at Nick Fuentes. You can go back and look at so many other content creators who were doing content way, way back. Who, you know, you have to look back and be like, oh, well, wow, they can't believe they said this, and wow, this is really crazy. But if you look at their mannerisms, you look at the way they react to things, you look at the way they parse the world, the information they take in, who they are, how they interact with people, there's been very, very little change. I guarantee it. No, the only thing I remember about Peter Coffin is Peter Coffin's hot ex-wife follows me on Twitter. Which is weird. Meredith Navin 1358, thank you for $5. Not joke. It must hurt you that Nick gets paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do what he does, and you get paid $5 to suffer through my jokes. No, because your jokes are worth more than that to me. No, it's it's a little bit frustrating, but again, it's this thing where you have to kind of take yourself out of the equation. I know I do good work. I know I do. This month has been rough for video views, I'm not going to lie. I have a couple more videos I'm working on, but I'm in a weird place where I kind of know all of the big projects I've been working on are not going to be barn burners. They're not going to be doing gangbusters on views. So yeah, it is like a little bit. It's a little bit frustrating, I'm not going to lie. Because I'm like, you know, I don't have a whole lot of job security. Let me put it that way. Even though I've been doing this now full time for God, it'll be 3 years this June that will be full time, only making videos, only streaming and doing content. And like it's not always easy. It's very, very up and down, but it's also kind of the best job I've ever had. Being able to do something, being able to try to educate, to help people, to connect with people, to connect people. Yeah, I don't know. Anywho. Just to be here 409. Peter Coffin, more like Peter Griffin. Got him. Good one, just to be here 409.
It's that Alex was part of that ecosystem and really kind of drove it. And what he did at that time was he told people to call the families, call the parents. There was a guy who's an Alex Jones fan, who like ripped up the memorials and then called the families and were like, why did you do this? For years, this is what happened to them after. They had to, all these.
Mason Gallioth, hey DD, as a director, why don't you do the filmmaker's philosophy of one for them, one for me? There's banger cheese topics. You can rake views surely besides your serious videos. Excuse me. So I am kind of doing that. I have, like I said, video on Pragmata I'm writing that will be out this week. Larger video essay I'm editing. Also, hopefully this week. That's gonna be the follow-up to the nostalgia video. So I'll be trying to take time to. I'm trying to curb my more perfectionist tendencies. So I don't do dumb shit like spend 3 hours on like a 10-second transition. Things I've done before, by the way. So hopefully I'll be able to deliver on that before the end of the week. Probably a stream highlight or two. And then the next video I'm working on right after that is going to be I kind of like a little bit inspired by creators like the Sphere Hunter, I want to do more long form analysis content of a specific work, because I've gotten into a lot of ideas content where I'm talking about, like culture and nostalgia. And I can reference works, but it's not really often the place to dive into and dissect an individual piece. And I also wanted to do more video game content. So, and I've talked about this before, but I'll be doing a kind of deep dive into The Suffering 2, a PS2 horror game about slavery, among other things. Which I think, I don't know, that is one of those videos that came to me and I'm like, this might be a banger. Like, this might be, so I beat the game already, recorded all the footage I need. I just need to finish writing the script. And a large part of that is the historical research. And I'm really excited to do that, for the first time in a minute. Like, usually when I get to research stuff, it's not that it's not historical, it's that it's usually really, really currently relevant. And it's not that, talking about slavery and crime and the history of the judicial system is always relevant in a larger sense. But it's not relevant in a larger sense. But it is not, I'm not looking it up because of impending nuclear war. I'm not looking it up because of advertisements we see every day. So it's, I don't know. I'm excited for that one. And I hope others are as well. That's one I really liked, even though it was janky. Yeah, I fucked with that, really. It's a... I'm not that guy, 7166. You could shit on Hassan and make 400k views a video. I was thinking of, I talked about it, I think, yesterday, or at least vocalized that I'd started working on a script about Contra, and I don't know. I don't think I have the energy for infighting shit right now. I really don't. Like, there are people who, Destiny, fuck off. Brianna Wu, fuck off. There are people who I will not ally with because of the tangible harm they've done to others. But I'm really not in a place to do fucking drama slop shit. Just I don't care about it a lot of the time. If I'm being honest,
people had to move just to stay away from this harassment. And more importantly, he made so much goddamn money, dude. He made so much money.
No.
I don't think Contra is worth it. Well, and it's Pasha, do not kick Auntie when she's having her episode. No, and see, I think there's you're right. And I think Dragon Cat Overload, I think you're right. Well, the problem is I don't know if it's ultimately harmless. Like, and that is the thing where you have to get into, like, what responsibilities do you have as a public figure? Are you not allowed to shitpost? Are you not allowed to speak your mind? And I think it just comes down to, like, hypocrisy, because I remember when Contra called out Vosh for making his dumbass misogynistic joke J.K. Rowling a couple years ago. And Contra was like, hey, why the fuck do you feel entitled to speak out for women and trans women and, like, all this other stuff? And when now called out for making jokes about Cuban aid, about embargoes, about military operations in Cuba, about things that, like, people's lives are being affected by this shit. And she cannot handle the faintest bit of criticism. It's like, what responsibility do you have as somebody whose life's work is politics and philosophy to actually engage with those criticisms? I don't know. The Israel stuff got me way more. Yeah, no. You're absolutely right. I was just thinking of the most recent example that I heard about, but her bizarre fucking behavior. It reminds me a lot of both Destiny and Brianna Wu, and I don't understand why some creator. You know, one other thing I was just thinking about. Destiny and Brianna Wu also have this very odd latent Islamophobia that it feels so rooted in early 2000s like jingoism and anti-Middle Eastern propaganda. It really does. And I haven't watched enough of Contra's stuff or heard enough of her takes to know if that's the same thing she falls into, but you hear them repeat the same fucking talking points. And it was the same shit that I heard for years growing up about how they don't let women take off their hoods, hijabs. My family would call them fucking hoods. They cut, like, my fucking family. When I was a child, my family told us that over in the Middle East, they cut off people's hands for stealing. Like everywhere. Like that was just a thing they just did everywhere. And it's that kind of stuff that forms these incredibly harmful messages. And it really feels like so many people who call themselves liberals or centrists, so much of their offense or so much of their spite towards leftists is based in the fact that they just don't want to even try to deconstruct their opinions and where they come from. Like, and it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. And I think that Natalie's not stupid. I have no doubt. I would never say or seriously mean that ContraPoints is stupid. But the way she's acting, it reeks of just not wanting to engage with it. Of these ideas and these criticisms. But also needing some kind of like feedback loop. Ugh. Like in Aladdin. Your parents think the Middle East still operates on the Code of Hammurabi. Kind of. Drax's Storm Scale, as someone who watched almost all her videos up to a few years ago, I don't think she's on the level as Destiny or Brianna. I still deliberately stopped watching her. Well, and I want to be clear. Let me be clear. I don't want to conflate those three. The reason that I gave that as an example is that there are a lot of little things in particularly the way they talk about Muslims and the Middle East and Israel. There are a lot of things that, to me, ring of similarities. That's the I was not otherwise comparing them. I want to be clear with that. Oh no, Sunchaser XVII. That's the really frustrating part. I think if she's not stupid, it makes her behavior worse, to be honest, because she should know better. Yeah, that's a massive part. Is that like I don't get just. I don't know. A part of me wishes I could sit down and genuinely talk to some of these people when they're like crashing out publicly. Like fucking Contra has no reason to talk to somebody like me. Really. But I really do wish I could just be like, hey, what's wrong? Like just a one-on-one, person-to-person convo. Is Contra crashing out again? She's kind of been doing it for the last like week or so. 2 weeks.
Oh, the business of being a Sandy Hook truther.
Yeah.
Was one of the most telling chapters in human civilization.
Yes.
The thing that was least acceptable became one of the most monetizable.
Yep.
And there were no guardrails around.
Yeah, Luke Willoughby, 7564. The anti-Muslim stuff was huge during the new atheist thing when I was coming up. Skeleton in the Closet of a lot of intellectuals of today were coming up around that time. You know, that's not a bad That's not a bad point that I hadn't considered. I always the like atheist era is so weird for me because it feels like having come to the YouTube game fairly late for somebody in my generation. The way people talk about anything before I was paying attention to like YouTube feels like when there's like an old man voiceover telling you the lore of a fantasy game starting out. Like, in the time before time. And like, when people talk about the new atheist movement, it's just a box of fucking mysteries to me. I have no idea what you could tell me anything happened there and I fucking believe you. Like pre-Gamergate, I don't even know how to work a YouTube. VI Joe, can we not pretend all Abrahamic religions aren't misogynistic? Individuals vary, but religion is harmful. No, I agree with you. Well, religion is harmful feels like an oversimplification, but broadly I agree with that. Like I'm not gonna, you're not gonna fucking hear me say that any Abrahamic religion isn't misogynistic. Anyway. Rainy Days, Actual Jake is one of the few OG atheist YouTubers who's still pretty cool. Yeah, Actual Jake is rad. It's been really cool and interesting to be able to, like, I don't have coworkers because we're all just content creators, but like, you know, Actual Jake and Fundy Fridays and Jesse Gender, like these are all people that I watched for, you know, sometimes years before I ever started making political content. So it's been really cool to be like, oh no, these people are actually that cool. Rad.
On this. And it reminds me, of course, in the bigger picture sense, of one of the greatest Onion headlines of all time, the recurring headline, which I'm sure you know by memory.
Yeah.
Which is,
no way to prevent this, says only nation where this regularly happens.
And it's hard to come up with a better capsule summary than that. But this is where, like, the Onion being the antagonist to Infowars, to Alex Jones, is perfect in this sort of, I don't know, like the fake news spectrum, the moral valence of what it is to do satire and the abuse of satire. I mean, I grew up reading the paper which you have revived.
Yeah.
Like I'm holding the new Onion in my hands and I'm seeing at the very top, this is the March-April.
You know what they absolutely should do? And again, I'm sure they're looking at all this stuff, but I got my first magazine, I think maybe my first magazine subscription as an adult, which is crazy to think about. But I got a 12-month subscription to Game Informer. Because they were having a sale. It was like $40. I had a little bit. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I love those guys. And it is so nice to actually read again and in a little magazine. Infowars would be like there is a slight hole in the market for a Infowars branded like weekly world news magazine. Like, do you remember back in the day they used to have, you go to Albertsons with your mom or whatever, getting food, getting groceries, and at the checkout stand they had Weekly World News with the most batshit insane spoof stories out there. Oh, excuse me. Like, let's take a walk down memory lane. The world's only reliable news. Oh, did they? Let's go. Oh, damn. See, there's nothing since November 2025. No, it's because they fucking, oh no. Look at Weekly World News making AI slop. Oh. That feels genuinely heretical. Like back in the day, it used to be stuff like this. Look at this monkey's face we done photoshopped onto this child's body. Hell yeah. Oh, man. This fucking whips, dude. Yeah, anyway, that's what they should do. That's what InfoWars should have.
Edition. Tearful Trump claims he was sex trafficked by Epstein. I was one of his victims, Weeb's president. It's the stuff that made me laugh consistently.
Yeah.
1998, drugs win drug war. 2011, judge rules white girl will be tried as black adult.
Once the trial begins next week, all courtroom images of Hannah will depict her as a 300-pound muscular black man, and jury members will be instructed to imagine her as such.
Great video, by the way.
It's so good. Leading us to 2014, Ohio replaces lethal injection with humane new head-ripping off machine.
The new device is designed to be as humane as possible, emitting soothing white noise and putting prisoners on a cushioned seat before its metallic talons dig into their necks and painlessly wrench their heads off.
And so the whole point in all of these things, not to be pedantic about satire, but like in the humor, in the sacred topic that you seem to be defiling, you're actually revealing something fundamentally interesting and useful about us, in which the person being made fun of is not one of the most traumatized victims you can imagine.
Yeah.
But it's often incredibly powerful people in institutions.
To me, it's the financialization of it.
Hey,
anybody
finally,
can believe
Daisy.
stupid shit. But if you say, believe my stupid shit, and the only way to stop that stupid shit is this boner pill I'm selling you on the internet, and then suddenly you're a millionaire.
My friends, we have done it.
That's so like pretending there's any amount of science in this drop-shipped bullshit is so funny to me.
With Dr. Group's help, we have developed the ultimate male vitality supplement with 8 concentrated super herbs. This is the answer to the globalist war on male vitality.
Like a multi-millionaire. Like you have a recurring revenue of people buying your boner pills every month. That is not a speech issue. That is like an FTC issue. That's an issue of do we want an economy that incentivizes that behavior, right? And I just don't want to live in a world like that. I just simply don't want to live in a world like that.
And so the story we're here to tell, it's basically been in the works for more than a year at this point.
18 months.
Okay, well, I think we should probably catch people up with the date, November 14th, 2024.
Yeah.
This is 9 days after Trump's reelection, and actually good thing seems to have happened.
Oh yeah, no, Karen, now I am constantly plagued by the idea of like, damn, I could just make bank. Like detransgrifting. Like, and you know the fucked up part? Detransgrifting, you don't even have to detransition to do that shit. They just let anybody go do, like, there are at least 3 or 4 detranser grifters who are just out there still taking the same hormones, still doing the exact same shit. Like, it's crazy.
CNN breaking news.
New this morning, the satirical news site The Onion has just won an auction to acquire the media outlet InfoWars.
That is right. The Onion buys Alex Jones's InfoWars in a bankruptcy auction. It sounded like a headline you would read in a satirical newspaper, but this is no joke.
The Onion plans to turn InfoWars into a parody, mocking the kind of disinformation that Alex Jones amplified.
The Onion buying InfoWars is like if Mad Magazine bought Mein Kampf.
It's hard to imagine something more perfect than you guys trolling the world's greatest troll by using legal mechanisms available to you that I did not know were even possible.
We do big swings as a company, and this was clearly our biggest one yet. Also, it was a 50-50 ball until we found out. So it was, in terms of a swing, it was a home run swing, and we connected.
Well, this is the thing. So this news breaks.
Yeah.
And it's an enormous deal. Everyone's covering it. And then it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So the answer I'm here to find out is like, what the did happen?
Yeah.
And also in the process of that, what happened to you?
Medicine. Antidepressants. That's what happened to me. Yeah, look, it was it's been a real test of my mettle as a human being, and I think like our mettle as a country in the last 18 months.
Huh.
And those two stories sort of dovetail pretty nicely.
Very fancy,
And
dicey.
the parent company of InfoWars, which is conveniently named Free Speech Systems.
How does the Onion make money? I'm assuming mostly with ads. Like it's a very well respected, well spread site. So like I bet when one of their things goes viral and pops off, they have to sell a shit ton of ads.
They had already been found liable for damages, like significant damages because of 3.
Yeah, probably. Oh, they have merch in a newspaper. I wonder how much of that. I wonder how much that brings in. I would be genuinely curious about the return on that.
Defamation lawsuits led by Sandy Hook parents. And just to set the scene here, there are lawsuits in Connecticut, there are lawsuits in Texas where Alex Jones is based. And so these two sets of Sandy Hook families at these two different trial venues, they're bringing litigation stemming from, again, the mass killing of 20 students between 6 and 7 years old, plus 6 of their educators, plus the shooter himself. This was all 13 and a half years ago in Newtown, Connecticut, Sandy Hook Elementary.
Fucking 14
But legally
years ago,
speaking,
man.
Alex Jones lost those cases.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he didn't participate in the cases. He thought he was above it.
And you were covering the trial for NBC News.
Yes, I was. Yeah.
We love discovery. We love documentation on this show. How forthcoming is he with the documents that the court is demanding?
Oh, he doesn't provide anything. Like literally does not provide anything. But that also backfires, which I'm sure you're going to talk about. There was like this one moment that is it would be like if it happened on Law and Order, you'd be like, shut the up.
It's one of my favorite moments in the history of jurisprudence. We have Alex Jones on the witness stand. The judge in her black robe is over his shoulder, and he's on trial in Texas. And a lawyer for the Texas families is going to reveal something that is objectively amazing.
Is that your phone number?
Yes. So you did get my text messages. And it said you didn't. Nice trick.
Yes, Mr. Jones. Indeed. You didn't give this text message to me. You don't know where this came from. Do you know where I got this?
No.
Mr. Jones, did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook. Did you know that?
I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment. I gave them my phone, and then
Mr. Jones, you need to answer the question.
No,
Did you know this happened?
No, I didn't know this happened. But I mean, I told you I gave them the phone over.
I just want to take a second to applaud the camera panning down to the back of his lawyer's head.
Everybody involved cooked.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like, I accidentally gave you the opposite of what I should have done. Whoops.
He has gone through many legal trials and tribulations, and no one saw it through to just embarrassing him at scale.
It also just has sort of like the vibe of like a kid who's finally been hauled in front of a principal.
Yeah.
And in this case, the principal is Texas District Court Judge Maya Gamble, who treats him like he's misbehaving in class.
Spit your gum out, Mr. Jones.
It's not gum.
Well, what is it? Because you're not allowed food or gum of any kind in the courtroom.
I had my tooth pulled a week and a half ago, and I had some gauze in there earlier. and it's been causing me to have some pain.
So you're chewing on your gauze?
Would you like me to show you?
No.
God, what a fucking... what a fucking...
I just want
man.
you to answer my question.
No, I was massaging the hole in my mouth with my tongue. Actually, right here.
I don't want to see
Right.
it.
Like, also, how do you fucking... like, seriously, you are in court talking to a judge. The fuck? SK What 60, I thank you for $10. Watch that court moment live. Immediately afterwards, defense lawyer stood up, prompted Jones to say under oath he believed his counsel did a good job, then sat right back down. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. If there's some fucking good times. I'm seeing people, I think, is this a skit or something? No, this is the actual Alex Jones trial. If you've never looked into or seen anything from it, there's so much good shit in there. So much.
Side of your mouth.
Oh no, don't go. Hole.
Sit down.
It's incredible.
It's great.
And ultimately, like on the stand in Texas, Alex Jones goes on to admit the thing that he has been seemingly loath to admit finally.
Lesbian Nightcrawler, thank you very much for subscribing at Tier 1.
Which is that, the whole Sandy Hook shooting, it was, quote, 100% real.
Do you understand now that it was absolutely irresponsible of you to do that?
It was, especially since I met the parents, and it's 100% real, as I said on the radio yesterday, and as I said here yesterday, it's 100% real, and the media still ran with lies that I...
So again, his thing, he always talks about, I was they ran with the lies that I was the Sandy Hook man. That's one thing he loves to fucking say, the Sandy Hook man. His lie is not that he lied originally, that Sandy Hook was fake, but that, oh no, yeah, I thought I had doubts in the beginning, but once it was cleared up, I immediately knew it was not, it was a totally real thing. But the media, the liberal, globalist, leftist media kept making me say, they kept trying to think I did it. I actually, people would run up, this is shit, type of shit he actually says. People would run up to me on the street and say, you're the Sandy Hook man, you killed all those kids. That is the level of extravagance he will stretch out his fucking excuses to.
was saying it wasn't real on air yesterday. It's incredible. They won't let me take it back. They just want to keep me in the position of being the Sandy Hook man.
I mean, just the experience of watching him try and save his reputation.
Yeah.
As a reporter covering the trial at the time, what did it tell you about Alex Jones's capacity to actually handle the truth?
Well, you have to bring him to the limit, right? Of him realizing this might actually
bring him to the limit.
Be it. He might actually face consequences here.
The
issue is, though, every mass shooting since then, he has called a false flag. Almost every single one. El Paso, Buffalo. His default statement is these people who died in this horrific thing are not real, or they are real, but it's being done on behalf of a government or something like that. And to say that this isn't a big deal. It's not a problem that we have in this country with gun violence.
So this jury awards the families $50 million. And that's not even the big damages trial.
Yeah.
Fall 2022 in the state of Connecticut, you have the jury foreman there. This is the other trial we've been talking about. And he's reading off the damages to plaintiffs.
Total fair, just, and reasonable damages to plaintiff Robert Parker and against Alex Jones and Free Speech Systems at line A and line B, total $120 million.
$120 million. $25 million, $55 million, and on and on and on. And yeah, Alex Jones on his show is he's basically saying, yeah, they had me doing the Oprah thing.
You get $1 million, you get $100 million, you get $50 million.
But the total damages, it all adds up to about how much, Ben?
$1.4 billion.
Which...
Velvet Fire, I genuinely wonder how he sleeps at night denying all the mass shootings. I think at a certain point, when you live in these kind of isolated, insulated echo chambers, when you have the personality around you, because Alex Jones is in the orbit of Trump's personality, like he is in that cult of personality, but he himself also has a smaller orbit, right? Of other people who've glommed onto him, who have come in and out of his orbit over time. And I think at a certain point, when you are part of this kind of misinformation network, when you make your living off of lies and conspiracies, I think you stop really having a full contact with reality. Like, whether something is true in the strictest sense of the word, I think doesn't factor in for them in a real way, if that makes sense. Like, I think they do not, they understand it in terms of, I think, like a job. You know, like it is time to log in, it's time to clock in to the bullshit factory today.
As a historical matter.
Oh my gosh, spinning chicken nugget, $5. I'm back. Thoughts on specifically the past 16 years of Zelda games. They're my current hyperfixation. This is going to be a rough one. I need everybody to buckle up here. Here's my opinion on most of the Zelda franchise. Like, I've played a bunch of them. I like them. At some point, I will get to, you know, like Link's Awakening and some of those, but like, I have, like, and I want to be clear, I don't really have anything against them. They've never, I beat, Ocarina, I beat, no, I didn't beat Twilight Princess. I played a lot of Twilight Princess. I beat Breath of the Wild. Haven't really played any other ones. It's like, I don't know. They are good games. They're, you know, very pretty. They're very stylish. They hold up really great. They're Nintendo games. Is like kind of the thing I think about them. It's very similar to how I feel about like Metroid. Is that I didn't really play them as a kid, so I don't have any nostalgia. So I just kind of have to view them in this cultural vacuum where I play them and I'm like, yeah, this is a good ass game. Nintendo, I'm gonna say something as controversial as it is brave. Nintendo, pretty good at making games, and that's kind of the way I feel about Zelda. Is like, yeah, Nintendo. Every time a Zelda comes out, people like it's one of the best games ever. I'm like, if you like Zelda, I'm very happy for you because that's Nintendo probably pretty good at making those games. Oh, no. No, yeah, Majora's Mask, I fucks with Majora's Mask. Don't you disparage Mommy Samus? I'm not gonna. But again, like, I've played a bit of the first Metroid, a bit of Zero Mission, and a bit of Metroid Prime. I like them. They're good, but, well, I don't know. What about Pokemon? Unfortunately, I do have a lot of Pokemon nostalgia. And unfortunately, Koa also loves Pokemon, so we are a Pokemon household. I will admit it. Like I have a Cyndaquil up there.
How do we even begin to contextualize what that is?
It's far and away the most in any defamation.
Yeah. See the Treasury Secretary that... Wait, what? Lennon Cat knows? No. I don't know why I say that like I'm surprised anymore with anything. We just had the fucking Labor Secretary resign. Was it Labor? Yeah, I think it was Labor. Yeah, Labor Sec. Scott Bassett says that in their hearts...
Feeling better.
Well, whoa.
When I was in the investment business, there are consumer surveys, but I used to look at what are the people really doing. So at Treasury, we have loads of CEOs come through, whether they're in retail, credit card, the bank,
hateful,
and the consumer, while they may be sounding grim, is actually quite buoyant. Mm-hmm. So we are seeing spending has been very solid across most categories.
So they might not feel good, but...
Well, look, in their heart of hearts, they feel good.
In their heart of hearts, you aren't suffering economically. In the heart of hearts, you feel good. Spinning chicken nugget. Thank you for $2. Utterly devastating. Mommy Urbosa smite this NB. I gotta go with my heart. Ironic that the labor secretary is out of a job.
Suit of all time. I want to make it clear, I do remember covering it that day. And he was, almost elated. He literally said, "Oh, I'm never going to pay this." It's like, I'm never going to pay this out. This is a guy who's settled everything else he's ever done. He once was sued by Chobani, the yogurt company, for alleging that they brought tuberculosis into the United States through immigrants. They settled. Another guy who he falsely accused of doing the Charlottesville attack settled. People generally just take, the admission of guilt, the admission that he's making stuff up, the on-air apology in a paltry sum of money and walk away.
At the time that it was ruled that he owed these families $1.4 billion, how much was Alex Jones worth, allegedly?
He was worth, I believe, tens of millions of dollars, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars. But he had this recurring stream of income. Like that, the thing, and it has not shut off. It's actually probably gotten bigger over time because he sells people the solution to all of these conspiracy theories, right? Iodized salt from a specific rock in a place is actually the thing that will save you from all of the radiation coming from 5G or whatever. Like there's, he provides you something to be extremely afraid of and an answer. And also just like merch.
Also, it's a courtesy of InfoWars is that this can't be the, no. Oh, holy hell. It still has his, god damn, dude. Why are you using a picture from like 20 fucking years ago? That's crazy.
Legal
I was like, there's no way that's a current. Nope, that's still the, damn.
An ancient American response. Because he does what?
He files for bankruptcy, yeah. Because he has to, right? He has a lot of money. Like, this guy is rich by any definition. But he's not $1.4 billion rich, right? So he has to file for bankruptcy. And what gets folded into that bankruptcy is this thing called Free Speech Systems, which encompasses InfoWars and InfoWars Life, which is the supplement company.
James. Oh, no. Pork Chop Express. Contra is a bit of a trans medicalist like Woo. You might be a little bit behind on there, but really? Oh. I think Contra got over that, though. Like, if I'm remembering, it's very foggy. I don't remember what happened, but I do remember being like, it's probably, I don't know, it's not that big of a deal. But again, I'm fucking half remembering it. So, Spinning Chicken Nugget, thank you very much for another 2. Also, Artemis 2 is my only source of optimism right now. Well, Strixhaven's pretty good. The new Magic set's pretty cool. I don't know. There's stuff to be optimistic about.
And several thousand domain names, including which we learned after the fact when looking through bankruptcy.
Thousands of domain names?
Yeah, including one called goblinlove.net.
I'm just going to go over to goblinlove.net right now and see what's happening on goblinlove.net. I'm getting the whole thing of like, this site is not a secure connection. And okay, very good. It's probably for the best.
Yeah, I'm sure you have grand designs for goblinlove.net.
I should say for the record here that we at Publitory Finds Out are reaching out to attorneys for Alex Jones as well as for the parent company of InfoWars. And while they may not immediately respond to our request for comment, we will post an update in the show notes.
So Joey Staley, I don't care for Strixhaven TBH. Here's the thing. I didn't care for Strixhaven before, but now that they've changed it from like, oh, here's fucking Magic High School to here is Magic College, it's such a big fucking jump in the aesthetic and in the style that it, like, one of the things I love the most about the classic lore and the classic Urza's block was like the academies of wizards and stuff that they would have. Like you would have like the Archimandrite and the people in Terrasaire and the Tolarian Academy and like studying up in these fucking castles, all their ancient love that shit. I love a good wizard school for adults. So that I think is really cool. I think it's I'm really liking Strixhaven way more than I thought I would. I didn't get to enjoy Lore and Eclipse. I've been too broke to do drafts or anything. Punk Corpse, the best way to do it. Now you're actually perfectly on time. Go find your like penny to 5-cent bulk store, because all the bangers in Lore and Eclipse are in the commons and uncommons. Like there's some good rares, but you can get a ton of bangers on the cheap, like 5-10 cents a card if you just find the places with bulk near you.
And on social, if they do. And in terms of like bankruptcy strategy, the legal
that's where I get
dimension of that. I should be
like the cards that I do add to my collection these days from, because the it was that the floating wall I was talking to Marionette earlier, that was just a completely random mirage common that is fucking bonkers, like insane in a modern deck. Dragon Cat Overload. Contra is one of those people who want to give people the benefit, people who wants to give people the benefit of the doubt even when they don't deserve it, which most people on the internet assume the worst. So yeah. Thinking of buying the book accompaniment. I got the book. I need to read it more. I don't know. I'm kind of in between books because I just finished Fort Bragg Cartel and I just finished There's No Anti-Memetics Division, and I'm about to start Parable of the Sower, I think. Oh no, I've got to finish fucking I have so many books to finish. All right, here's my problem. I've gotten into this habit of like collecting books that I'm reading. And so I will go, for example, and keep books around the house. And then when it comes time, end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I want to read a book tonight. I want to read a book before bed. I want to drink some tea and read a book. And so I grab the nearest book and I read it for a bit. If I get locked in, read it for a bit more. And then I just put it down next to my bed, because I now have a stack that is like, I shit you not, like probably that tall, of books that I keep getting mostly through, or halfway through at least, and then just putting it on the stack. And it's always like, it's not even stuff that there's any consistency to. Like I have on the stack, I have a Clive Barker book, a book on Buddhism from 1959 that I found in one of these like neighborhood, like the little neighborhood libraries they have where you give a book, take a book type thing. A book on Buddhism. What was the other one? I have a Solzhenitsyn book, The Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, a Clive Barker book, another, what is it? There's a thick one over there. I don't remember what it is, but it's just like, Strixhaven. The Strixhaven book is on that pile because I read like 2 chapters. I was like, this good. Hey, I read the 2 chapters. I was like, this is a good book. And then I put it on the stack. Never do we fucking see it again. Yeah. Child of a Murdered God. Do people who want others to go to psychologists to verify they are trans count as transmed, or are we talking about the people who want to force trans folks to get on HRT and surgeries first? I think there's a lot of overlap in those two. And like talking to a psychologist or a psychiatrist is, I think is, yeah, like you should do that. You should talk to, qualified medical personnel before you make literally any medical choices. And additionally, you should also seek a second opinion. Like, because there are, trans medicine as a whole is in a very precarious position because there just aren't a lot of people out there with a lot of experience in it, outside of surgeons. So it's something that I think you need to exhibit a bit of caution for. At the same time, I think the people, there is so the reason those two things get conflated between people who are like, you probably should make sure you're trans, probably talk to somebody about dysphoria, probably get some kind of diagnosis or understanding of that. people who say those things do get conflated a lot with TERFs, because those kind of ideas often serve as a Trojan horse of sorts for what they really mean, which is, oh, all these kids are being taken, they're being taken by the globalists, and they're being they'll get sex change surgeries right at school, right during the recess period. It's crazy, folks. Like, they'll buy into that same Alex Jonesy bullshit and use those much more innocuous seeming ideas about, like, oh, we're just concerned in doing this. So that's why there is often, I think, a conflation between those two. And I think people should, I'm always saying, give people a little bit more grace. Come to those conversations with a more open heart and an open mind for an actual discussion, as opposed to like, oh, you're not trans if you don't get all of these surgeries and go grow up on Susan's place and all that shit. Jay Kong, thank you for $2. Who aged worse, Alex Jones or Conquest? What do you mean Conquest? Hey, what do you mean Conquest?
Very clear that neither of us are bankruptcy lawyers.
No.
And so while other sports podcasts have been talking about the Final Four, we ended up speaking to a guy named Chris Maddie.
Yeah, my name is Chris Maddie. I'm a lawyer in Connecticut. I was lead counsel for the Sandy Hook families who brought a case against Alex Jones and Infowars here in Connecticut. Lifelong Husky fan. Go Huskies.
And Chris Maddie said that Alex Jones mocking the verdict struck him as just another theatrical performance of sorts, as opposed to, again...
Emily Sawyer, 9220. What, no Tolstoy or James Joyce? I actually do have some Joyce queued up, because I kind of miss reading Joyce after Portrait of a Artist as a Young Man, which is something I'm going to reread again for the other one that I want to do this summer. The long-awaited The Mommy Issues of Hideo Kojima video. So I will probably get back into Joyce a little bit. I go through phases very easily. I'll get started on Tolstoy. I've been reading a bit about Tolstoy. Is actually in a heavy presence in the essay I'm writing, recording that I just finished editing. God damn.
Something true.
What it struck me as...
Pajai reading Anna Karenina and Dubliners right now. Dubliners whips. Oh, Dubliners whips. That last fucking story hits you like a goddamn truck. Like, there are a lot of stories from, shocking, I know, and the late early 1900s. A lot of writing is just dudes being miserable as fuck, but there is something so... Like James Joyce describes Ireland as though it was a physical part of himself, right? He describes the culture, the people there with such a kind of reckoned intimacy, like an understanding that only comes from proximity and being able to wholly understand the flaws of something. Like it's yeah, you really, I haven't seen anything else like it in writers. Thoughts on Haruki Murakami, DD? No. My ex-wife liked Murakami. I don't know if I've read any of their stuff. I don't think I have. I don't read a lot of modern stuff, though. Ireland is a state of mind, and that is fucking Karenina. No, you're right. You're right, Kira Mystic. Again, how many fucking times? How many times are we going to talk about saying Mario instead of Mario? Oh no, we're still doing Ethan Lake, and we're still doing Alex Jones.
Was a guy who was play act.
Finnegan's Wake seems impenetrable. Yeah, I gave up on Finnegan's Wake. Finnegan's Wake, like, I read a little bit of Finnegan's Wake and I was like, you know what? I'm good. It's kind of like by design, though. Like it's not dissimilar to a lot of the stuff Dante does in the Inferno and Purgatory and fucking Paradiso, where it's so peppered with personal touches that you have to be really fucking familiar with the author's life and the time they were in and their cultural references and their frame of mind. Like, I'm sure I know it's beautiful. People have talked about how great and challenging it is, but honestly, it's not. It's fucking turning a book into a puzzle is not the reason I wanted to read Joyce. Got that from reading Infinite Jest. Yeah, it's very much. I think those two are in a similar kind of conversation. No, Kirjan Mystic, you're fine.
Acting that he was strong and unbothered by this verdict when inside I think he was terrified.
Slaughterhouse-5, and I kind of get why you like Vonnegut. Vonnegut is such a... There are a number of very sardonic kind of absurdists and short story writers of the 1900s, and Vonnegut is maybe, reigns supreme among them, certainly in the top. And I think Vonnegut has such a... Like, all of these writers have such a way with words, but in reading, one great writer next to another, you do get a feel for their different flavors. And Vonnegut has such a whip-smart razor's edge. Like, it is... That's really the only way I can describe it. If it were any more focused on cutting to the quick, it... Like, you would get paper cuts every time you turned a page. But yeah, read fucking the one I read was the one with Ice Nine and the Baconinists. What the fuck was that called? Cat's Cradle. Jesus. Which is a fucking bonkers story.
Of what this would mean for him and his business. And my biggest hope...
No, yeah, Dragon Cat Everlord, need to read more Vonnegut. I've only read Cat's Cradle. I love his sense of irony. It's a sense of irony that you don't get a whole lot from writers in that period. Like, it really... Vonnegut almost carries on a writing tradition of writers like, I wouldn't even say like Voltaire with Candide. Like, there is something so... There's something so rich in the writing and the description of the world that it brings it to life, but the things that are depicting are so unbelievably absurd. And it leaves you in this middle ground that it does create this kind of, like, I don't know, this very surreal creation.
Hope was that the verdict might puncture, this aura that he has around him with many of his followers, where some people who had been misled for so long might have watched the trial,
Breakfast of Champions,
seen all the evidence,
Breakfast of Champions
and
is a
then
good one.
seen this jury's verdict and thought to themselves, this was bullshit all along.
In basketball, there's the concept of a heat check.
Yeah.
And it just felt like the Sandy Hook families finally exposed Alex Jones as the thing that he never wanted to be regarded as to his audience, which was just a bullshitter.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it felt like in the moment.
I mean, what this lawyer,
Ethan the Lycan, definitely about the sharp wit, but he seems to do it in a very empathetic way. No, he does. There's a deep humanism to Vonnegut. And I think that's really... It doesn't matter what, political beliefs or leanings you have. I think that is the aspect that comes through most in the work of great writers. Writers who are able to, and Cat's Cradle does this a lot, writers who are able to present multiple different perspectives on a side of an issue, but then even in defining those characters, you're able to better empathize and understand them and why a human being would turn out like this person, why a human being does act like this person, which is, like, honestly, all the more impressive for how fucking weird some of the people act in those books.
This Yukon Huskies apologist also told us, which is that...
First of all, disgusting behavior.
I mean, that's gross. That's gross.
Yeah.
But the degree of public confidence that Alex Jones was sort of theatrically performing according to Chris Maddy, it was far from the only thing that he saw Alex Jones misrepresenting in this case.
Throughout the case, we knew that Alex Jones was lying about his assets. I mean, that's one of the reasons that he ultimately was defaulted, is because he had his people fabricate financial documents and he was concealing, crucial information about the way his business worked, which was...
Yeah, you have Sun Chaser. I haven't read any Vonnegut yet. You should. Yeah, it's not his books aren't that long. They're novel length. So you can get through most Vonnegut, I would say, in an afternoon or two.
Obviously corrupt, like lie and you get clicks. That was the basic profit model. So we expected, to run into some, malfeasance post-verdict. He sought bankruptcy in a very friendly venue in Texas. And we were assigned to a court that, basically allowed him to drag things out, continue to operate his business while benefiting from it. And the problem was that our
Ray
families
Bradbury is great
did not
too.
care.
I read Kira Jen Mystic. I read Fahrenheit 451 because I didn't ever read that. My high school, like the high school book, there's a couple of them. There's Catcher in the Rye, of course, Great Gatsby, and Kill a Mockingbird. Those were like my high school classics, right? But man, fucking Fahrenheit 451 whips. That shit rocks, dude. Like, it really just knock you on your ass writing. Like, from the opening, even just the opening, it's, again, it reminds me a little bit of Gibson's Neuromancer, because I read the first couple William Gibson's first couple cyberpunk books last year. And it is that level of description and flavor that is succinct, but it brings you right into these scenes that otherwise are so boring. Like the things that they start by describing aren't like theatrical, aren't grand. They aren't these massive spectacles. It's not cutting to the middle of the action. It's not like a grand revelation. There are these moments of quietude, but they're just brought to life so vividly that you're like, fuck, okay, I'm locked in on this.
About money. They've never...
What do I think of Catcher in the Rye? I hated it when I was in high school. I hated fucking Holden so much. I thought he was such a whiny bitch, and it pissed me off to no end.
Cared about money. They rejected
I will be
a deal
right
with
back,
Alex
chat.
Jones that would have paid them a lot of money, and instead wanted to make sure that this verdict was used to basically defang him.
Coyote BW, yeah, go ahead.
The vampire thing keeps on coming back.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't have used that word. What is he doing?
I mean, dare I say that the whole onion thing is a bit on the nose now.
Pablo, that's garlic.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm getting in my ear that is garlic. You are.
Mother, do not edit that out. Do not let him have that.
Furiously Googling vampire onion. We got to fast forward, though, to June 2024, because the families and the lawyer, Chris Maddy, who represents them, they agreed to let the court supervise the liquidation of Alex Jones, Inc., all of his assets. And the biggest asset in what is now like Storage Wars.
Yes.
Is, of course, what?
Oh, it's Infowars.
So when did you and the Onion come up with the idea to make a bid on it?
Yeah, so I saw it was for sale. Like they have to market these things. They have to, in bankruptcy court, they have to go market it. And it appeared in like the equivalent of a classified ad somewhere in some Austin newspaper. And that was uploaded, I think, to like Blue Sky or Twitter or something. I was like, this would be funny. The first thing I wanted to do was make sure the families would be okay with us doing a bit on this. Because you don't want to go in there and do a bit about stuff like this without people's...
Thank you, El Salve. Thank you for $5. Who else thought that the Onion buying Infowars was at first one of their parody news outlets? Because that headline sounded like one. I think that's part of the magic. Honestly, I think that helps sell the bit. Definitely.
Permission, express permission. The other thing the big thing that played into our calculus is the money goes to the families. Like if we buy this, it goes to the Sandy Hook families. And I was like, I'm not sure anybody else is going to bid on it. He might just get it back with money he's...
Have I read 1984 Animal Farm? No, but they are on my list. They are on my list. I was thinking I might do read through, because Animal Farm isn't that long, you know. Might just blast through that and then do like a review on the movie, because that comes out a week or 2 weeks.
Laundered through like Roger Stone or something.
And it's a Angel Studios joint, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it was bought by Angel. I don't believe Angel Studios made it. I believe they bought the rights to it, the distribution and all that shit.
Which
was the required reading? Things Fall Apart was one of them. Stoughton was another. It was about fucking a high school swim team. Such boring bullshit. Oh God, I loathed so many books we were like pushed to read. What was another one? We did, Romeo and Juliet and all that shit. I don't remember any other. To Kill a Mockingbird was the big one. And then senior year it was Catcher in the Rye and something else. I don't remember what it was.
It would be unacceptable to most people, and it certainly looked like it was headed that way. So we were like,
TTBN Gaming, hey, can we talk about Pragmata? Because what the fuck? Oh, I started a script on it. Yeah, I have a fucking takes in the work on that, because Jesus Christ, people are being so normal, and I don't know what the fuck they did to the algorithm, but I put out like 1 post or 2 posts about Pragmata, and my entire feed has been nothing but dorks about it. Ugh.
Like, well, it's either us or nobody.
But when you say that you checked with the families and their reaction was like, huh.
Yeah. I think it took them a minute. I think at first they were like, that thing?
It's worth characterizing, by the way, the reaction of Chris Maddie, the lawyer for the families, because it was understandable.
I think the families would have been very happy for somebody to come in and just shutter this thing. On the other hand, they also recognize that there's kind of real value in using a brand and a property that has been for so long used for terrible purposes, and to kind of turn it around a little bit.
I think a lot of people characterize victims of tragedies.
Oh, thank you very much, Cowboy or Coyote.
Like this is like, that's all they are. That's the dad of this dead child or something. They are human beings who like to laugh at stuff and have lives. And this allows them to like reclaim their identity in a way that is very nice, right? And also, if you live in America, you almost certainly know someone who has been a victim of gun violence. And that's not all they are. Now, the issue is 9 days before the auction for this thing.
It is now official. CNN projects that Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris and making a political comeback unlike any.
Oh, right.
Remember that?
November 2024, to put it in the grand timeline.
So he wins, and then there's this like 8-day window where we're like,
I do not see it.
Okay.
DM. Oh, added me.
We
on
are
Twitter. Okay,
walking
that's
into
why.
a burning building.
All right, sorry, I was looking for a DM.
When we bid what we have.
Perfect.
And what we have is $1.75 million, in part because our business is doing well, and in part because we have a sponsorship for a launch of it with Everytown, which is the gun safety group. And then we have the backing of the families. The families have helped out by basically, so the Connecticut families don't really care about money very much. The Texas families care about it slightly. They have basically a deferred payment from the Connecticut families to the Texas families built into this thing, a claims waiver kind of thing. What that allows that to do is like push the value of our bid up much higher. The federal receiver in charge of the estate for Infowars he has a fiduciary duty to maximize value. Cash is king. And by maximizing value, we have the highest bid.
Well, Alex Jones, his shell company,
yeah,
First United American Companies, they had bid $3.5 million.
Yeah.
And lost because you guys had bid the 1.75 plus what I can only translate into sort of like non-lawyer speak is like this sweetener.
Yeah.
Where the families agreed to forego some of the proceeds to benefit other creditors, which brought the sweetener to a value of like around $7 million.
Correct.
Effectively. Yeah. But of course, the response from Alex Jones as InfoWars is going offline, and again, he can't even broadcast from his famous studio.
Yeah.
You would describe how?
He lost his mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:50 right now. I'm about to upload this to X. I just got word 15 minutes ago that my lawyers and folks met with the U.S. trustee over our bankruptcy this morning, and they said they're shutting us down even without a court order. This morning, the Connecticut Democrats with the Onion newspaper bought us. They asked, did they outbid? They said, well, it was competitive. So they changed all the bidding rules, made it secret 2 days ago. I had a bad feeling. I told you that.
One of the very first things he does is he calls Steve Bannon on the air. And Steve Bannon picks up the phone and goes, what the is happening?
I need you to understand. The Onion is the front group that bought it with backing from other sources. But the Onion is going to turn it into a parody site, thinking they can mock us. So they're going to, make fake news and the vitamin supplements that you sell, Alex, and other people sell. They think they're going to be really funny. Let's show you how funny it is. Walk in the control room, put the frickin' camera up in their face, and let's get a name, rank, and serial number. Imperial troops going to come in there and think they're going to jackboot what's going on. Let's see the jackboot. Let's see the polish on the jackboot. Let's see the heel of the jackboot. They're nothing but Gestapo.
And then the receiver goes in and starts like turning stuff off in the studio, which was also weird, and we didn't really fully understand the extent of how that was going to take place.
They're turning off the internet. They're turning everything off here. And so that's in process right now. InfoWars is turned off. Band.video is turned off. And so there is a very good chance that we will be back here in the next few days as soon as the judge has an emergency hearing. And this will, this what I believe is injustice and wrong will be upended.
Oh, wait. Why is it?
I'd never heard of the Onion until it bought InfoWars. He just never, didn't even, the concept of it was completely foreign to him. So we, that was a fun thing to deal with. And then over the course of the day, the local, Fox News started because it was so out of left field, the news didn't really know how to handle it.
That, Queenie, I believe
Fox News said we had
Onion did get
4.3 trillion
InfoWars,
daily readers, which is on our website somewhere, but I don't even know where.
Teeth.
It's not even on the
yeah.
About
People
section.
really don't fucking talk about Steve Bannon's
we had
ties
done
to
a hostile takeover of the news for a day, and it
Epstein
was great. Except this really, really made Alex very, very upset. So we realized that he was simply not going to give up on this thing.
Yeah, and spoiler alert: less than a month later, a judge.
I saw a Chibi Reviews dunk there. Yeah, man, that I don't look. I'm not gonna fucking defend anybody like Chibi, but goddamn, dude, that shit sucks. The stuff he's gone through online fucking blows. Well, I'm not gonna say he doesn't deserve it, but yikes.
Judge rejects your winning bid, rejects the entire auction that took place. And Alex Jones takes to his microphone again.
This is a fight all the way to the end. And I've told Trump and I've told his advisors, they're the bad guys. And so I like our odds just taking the gloves off.
El Salve, at school we had to watch Fireproof? What the fuck? Why would you ever have to watch motherfucking Fireproof? That's insane.
Can you describe what it's like to face Alex Jones with the gloves off?
Oh, it sucks, brother. It's not good. They had made a bunch of threats toward me and like the Onion in general over that month that they were going to come after.
Wait, Melanie fighting Trump? Is Melanie Mack talking shit on Trump now?
Us for, thought crime or whatever. I don't know exactly what
For
the charge would be.
silencing him.
For silencing
taking his free speech.
Yes, for taking his free speech. For basically enacting a judgment, several judgments against him by bidding on the company. And a lot of people ask me, like, the judge, for example, was like, why wouldn't this sell for more? Why wouldn't this go for more?
Yeah, I got to admit, like, that's a pretty good price. I feel
Yeah,
like.
right? And it's because you're not buying Infowars. You're buying Alex
Georgia
Jones'
Maloney.
personal
Okay.
harassment campaign for the rest of your life.
I
You
was
are
like,
inheriting
what the
this
cheat
thing.
has to go
You're taking
off
on
a deep end.
all of this bullshit forever. Like,
No,
we're just talking
you're
about
right, you're right.
strength and how he views strength. How Alex Jones views strength.
Yeah, shirtless on a horse.
Yeah. And what I've realized over the last 18 months is strength is actually sticking through to what you believe and what is the right thing to do for people who would otherwise just abandon it. It's not about showing up on a horse and taking big pills until your voice sounds like this down here. That's not what it is. Or bombing the shit out of countries and yelling at people about it. Or, sending your mass goons into cities and beating the shit out of women and shooting them in the face. That's not strength. That's actually like the opposite. That's insecurity. Strength is knowing that you're going to walk into a bunch of people saying insane shit about you and keep walking. I just think, Pablo, there is a moment in your life where you see a bunch of evil shit happening and you have a chance to stop something that is particularly egregious. And if you walk away from it, I just don't know why you're alive. And I decided, with the help of everybody in my life and family, that like I just wasn't going to drop this. And I just didn't want to make it. So our most grievous sin as a country, which is mass shootings of kids in school, where financializing that and getting away with it is fine. If we can't draw a line there, then there is no line anymore. You can just do whatever you want, whatever evil shit you want, and make as much money you want. Friends of mine were like, wasn't it cool that time you you hip checked Alex Jones and I was like, no, dude, we're still going for it. And they'd be like, yeah, that's cute, Ben. It's nice that you're doing that. Everyone had just given up on the premise. And I wasn't going to give up on these families. I just didn't want to do it.
Except the problem was that bankruptcy court doesn't exactly make doing the right thing easy. And I will spare you the full TikTok of what happened here, but all you really gotta know is that shutting up Alex Jones for good, because of Sandy Hook, ultimately hinged on a legal character known as the court-appointed receiver. And the court-appointed receiver's job was to sell at auction a whole bunch of stuff belonging to a bankrupt Alex Jones. Kind of like, Storage Wars. He has the actual passwords.
Yes.
To Infowars.com. He's also the guy, relatedly, who sued Alex Jones in June of 2025 for things which included, allegedly, selling part of his ranch to his dad for $10.
Yep.
Gifting his dad 3 luxury cars, and then apparently forgetting which cars they even were. Also making up a prenuptial agreement payment to his wife, and other, quote, sham transactions concocted to frustrate the collection efforts, end quote. And this is the dude who, in so many words, seemed like he was all good with The Onion and your bid.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
I think he got spooked.
As did the gum-hating
Have a
judge
good
that we
one,
mentioned
Joey.
before, who rejected The Onion's winning bid back in late 2024, only to have something of a change of heart in August of last year.
I guess it's hit the news. The Hill judge clears the way for The Onion to revive bid for Alex Jones Infowars. So here we go again.
But more than anything else, Ben Collins needed the court-appointed receiver to rule in his favor, or at least allow the Onion to lease the keys to InfoWars for that $75,000 a month. And what that receiver realized, apparently, is that he did not want Alex Jones to do to him what he had done to all of his targets, including the Sandy Hook families, who are still struggling to collect those $1.4 billion in damages.
Haven't seen y'all.
He realized that Alex Jones was gonna talk about him all the time on InfoWars and make his life hell. In fact, Alex Jones was so committed to information warfare and to fighting that $1.4 billion judgment that he tried to take his case all the way to the Supreme Court, filing an 84-page application, which ultimately failed.
Yeah, no shit.
First of all, he called the Onion his ideological enemy and that we shouldn't be allowed to take over because of that, which I don't think is how courts work, but I just, that's just me.
But around that same time, last September, something remarkable happened. Donald Trump's Department of Justice entered the fray. The director of Trump's weaponization working group, a guy named Eagle Ed Martin, who is also the Associate Deputy Attorney General and the United States Pardon Attorney, as previously discussed on this show, sent a threatening letter to Chris Maddy, the Yukon fan and attorney for the Sandy Hook families. And in that letter, Martin questions the credibility and financial motives of one of the first responders at the shooting, an FBI agent. And he says,
DC Emilio 74, thank you for following.
Quote, as you may know, there are criminal laws protecting the citizens from actions by government employees who may be acting for personal benefit. I encourage you to review those. End quote.
Yeah. It's like active Sandy Hook trutherism coming from the letterhead of the United States government.
Alex Jones, naturally, obtained and then published this letter on Infowars.com. And he tweeted it out alongside a photo of himself standing next to a smiling Ed Martin.
So yesterday, I talked to Ed Martin, the head strike force lawyer with billions of dollars under him and thousands of people at his disposal. And we talked about 45 minutes, and most of what he told me, he said was, should be on the...
Did I miss Dead Dwayne reacting to the loser's video on her? Who? Was there, who are we talking about? El Salve, thank you very much for $10. We watched Fireproof. My school used to practice gay conversion. Jesus, discouraging voting for gay marriage, and in 2017, Aussie referendum and stigmatized other religion. There are news articles about it. That is... Oh, that's crazy.
The record.
That is... It's
only a few things weren't. And a lot of this was exclusive information because I've known Ed for really 24, 25 years.
So fucking much.
A little about his background.
Civilized society.
Been like hardcore anti-globalist for 40 years. I mean, so he's been doing it longer than I have.
But what this whole multimedia effort
we're
told the
done.
recipients,
I just want to finish this video,
Chris Maddy,
then we'll move on to something else.
Was something else about Alex Jones.
He was getting very, very worried that he was getting to the end. He was trying to come up with some way to throw off the process that is going to result in the closure of InfoWars. And he tells Ed Martin, hey, and by the way, I don't have firsthand knowledge of this, but it's pretty easy to read these tea leaves, that, one thing we might be able to do here is to suggest that, this whole litigation is somehow under investigation by the Justice Department. Thankfully, somebody at the Justice Department, I believe Todd Blanche, shut it down. But it is one thing that it made me think about is how many people have gotten letters.
Hypersane Demons, thumbnail, dumb, but didn't want to watch it. 47 minutes? Whew,
like this,
damn.
Who don't have counsel, who haven't done anything wrong, and are with the Justice Department just being used as a form of like Bush League intimidation, which is what this kind of was.
Todd Blanche, by the way, the new acting attorney general, seemed to have at the very least the political wherewithal to think to himself, maybe we shouldn't want to be head-to-head against the Sandy Hook families by accusing the FBI agent who was trying to, help them.
And this is the Ghislaine Maxwell guy, by the way.
But again, it's like, where is the line? Is the story of our time. What's going to be the point beyond which you cannot return? And they looked right over into that canyon and then drew themselves back at the last second.
Yeah. And I think part of why I've been living with, this like feeling like I'm falling out of an airplane for 18 months is I am with them at the canyon. And this was the last line of defense. We had to do it because literally no one else was going to do it. The good news is two things happened. One, the newspaper went bananas in this time frame. So we relaunched it in August of 2024. Since then, we've become, I believe we are the 5th largest newspaper in the United States right now, which is insane. We have over 70,000 subscribers. So that was just cooking as this was happening. So that was really... And also, it allowed...
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to. I was looking at that Hyper Sane Demon channel. I'm not gonna watch that. That is a person who, if I'm thinking of the right person, just briefly looking through their channel, I don't want to engage with that person at all. Because that is somebody who I believe has continued to message me. And I don't even want to acknowledge them. If it is the same person I'm thinking of.
Give us some time to
that is not a channel that is it would do me it does no good to dunk on someone like that, genuinely.
To figure out what to do with this asset, right? Because initially we were going to, put some of our favorite old Onion writers in charge of it and just do a bunch of scams. Send us $100 and we'll send your grandson $20. That was the kind of thing that we were going to put on the front page.
If you are at all curious, this is not me trying to be like, oh, I'm going to bury this or whatever. If you are at all fucking curious, go watch the video, but make up your own mind. I will always recommend hey, yeah, I'm not above reproach. I am not above criticism by any stretch of the imagination. So if you are sitting there worried oh, what are they saying about Dead Domain? Go check it out. I kind of think I already know what it's going to be. And I don't want to expose everybody on here to that. So,
which I think we still might do, by the way. And then we were like, well,
Ethan, the Lycan, is Xena not on Tubi or something? I keep seeing people talk about Xena in the chat. I noticed they brought Miami Vice back to Tubi. That's been tight. I need to finish watching that again. Cugsley, never heard of him. Noticed they got 2 views on all their vids trying to piggyback off you. Yeah. What crimes are they hiding? What do you want? This? No, I saw your text. Do you... No, I was dealing with the thing. Did you want me, baby? When?
Is that really doing this justice? Could we do something much bigger and better? So,
sorry, Koa just
the
came
good
out to
news
point
is
at
over
me.
the last 18 months, and the bad news for Alex and everybody else involved on the other side is it gave us a lot of time to think about what this could be and make some phone calls. And then a couple weeks ago, Alex Jones shows up on Tim Pool's show and they say that he smells like alcohol. And he says, they're shutting down Infowars next month.
I'm ready, but don't follow me at Real Life Shows on X.
God damn.
Infowars.com. We're getting shut down. We beat so many attacks.
Fuck, dude. Oh. You don't want to watch the video? I knew it. You're part of the Italian mafia, aren't you? Couldn't fool me. I honestly, I would say to everybody, don't even, because I know people from my community, fans will go out, you'll interact, you'll fight with people on the internet. I don't like seeing that but I know I can't stop it within a reasonable degree. But genuinely, just don't engage with this person. And I mean this so seriously. Don't go flood the comments. I'm dead fucking serious. I'm not being ironic. I'm not talking in Minecraft. Just don't. You go watch, but don't engage. Right? Like if you absolutely must know, go watch. Don't engage.
Finally, we're shutting down like the middle of next month.
Wow.
It's going to be insane what happens.
Peaky Blinders reboot.
Yeah.
Rough.
So the fake receiverships, the fake auctions, all of it's happening right
No,
now.
me too. Rosebud Butterfly. I was like, he started talking again, and I was like, fuck, I forgot how bad it was.
The picture of sobriety.
I was going to say, I don't have blood tests, but I can smell him from here.
Yeah. So I called my lawyer.
Thank you
our
very
bankruptcy
much.
lawyer, who we've had this whole time. And I was like, I know he says this like once a month, but again, he says that they're shutting down Infowars next month. So what's the deal? So he called the receiver and he was like, yeah, we're shutting it down. Like the receiver said, we don't have enough money to pay rent on
this $75,000
right,
a month.
Exactly. Let alone pay for utilities and internet and the staff. So
I believe he sent me messages. I don't even want to acknowledge him. Yeah, if it is the same person I think it is, I think I probably received similar messages. So, yeah.
So we can't keep the asset moving. And we were like, well, this receiver has two responsibilities, right? Do what the families want with this asset. That's one. Which currently they want to sell it to hopefully us. I'm hoping, but like they want to sell it for value to someone they can trust is not in Alex Jones's orbit. And in order to do that, they have to keep the value of the asset up. That is the receiver's job, is to keep the value of the asset going. That's why he's still in the air.
The rub is, yeah, you can sell this to Alex Jones's ideological enemy, but they got to figure out a way to make money with it.
Yeah, exactly. So we called the receiver and said, well, it has considerably less value to us as a dead property. We'll pay to take it over. And I can almost guarantee you with the plans that we have, like it will increase its value over, the boner pill company that it currently has. And by the way, and this is not part of the deal, but the whole time we're giving a cut of merch sales to the families. Like we want them to be able to get paid for real at some point with actual human dollars as part of this process. So we've come to an agreement with the receiver that we get to take over this asset pretty much immediately in a couple of days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so just to be clear then, the actual big exclusive announcement here is that The Onion has finally acquired Infowars.
Yes, we have. We've taken over the Infowars studio and the IP and the website and all that stuff. Yeah.
You guys hiring?
Yeah. So part of the thing we did in the background is like, we're like, no matter if we get this thing or not, we need to go after this kind of like, ecosystem of like slopfluencers. So we started hiring in the background. And the very first person we hired is a guy who reached out maybe like 20 minutes after the first announcement. And that's Tim Heidecker from Tim and Eric and Adult Swim Days and Office Hours. And he's currently on tour.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he's an incredible fit. And we didn't know this until one phone call, but he does a great Alex Jones impression.
I set up a website, and you can look at it right now because I've got a liquidate, and I've got a lot of DVDs, and these are items that I've had for 20 years. These are great DVDs. The entire Monty Python Flying Circus, okay? Now, that's 7 DVDs, and you can get that for $99 right now, and that's going to help pay for our legal bills. We're going to be able to keep the doors open here.
A big part of what we've seen over the last couple of years is all of the good comedians that you and I know and love, all the good pipelines for good comedy writers kind of got killed by a series of things like the writer's strike, the fires, the pandemic. And by the time they all came back, like all their jobs.
You gotta reach out. I'm not on that level. Like they're talking Tim Heidecker shit. I'm not on that level.
Were replaced by like shows about oil with like that have like 5 racial slurs in them for some reason. And they're like, Like, where is the apex mountain for what a comedy job is? And it's kind of
Are you saying you're not hiring Jerry Jones to do a cameo?
He is involved, but sometimes his yacht doesn't get great Wi-Fi, so that's kind of the issue.
But I just love. Hold on, but what you're saying is that you have made a series of bets.
Yeah.
On print newspapers and now, comedy at the time at which both of these industries have, of course, been otherwise deeply, deeply destroyed.
Yeah, I like a zag. We also had this woman named Mia Di Pasquale who was in charge at Nathan For You. She was in charge of duping all those companies into participating in that show, and all of them have deep Rolodexes. My favorite thing about Tim is that he just loves bringing up younger comics and giving them more space to do stuff. And we're going to give them space, and we're going to give them the ability to grow into a much bigger thing. In what better way, right? Like, build on the rubble of all this awful stuff. We're all going to have to do this, brother. Like, we have, like, there is just rubble now. And, for example, what you've built is, like, you've built this mansion on top of this rubble because I correctly identified it as rubble.
TD Chat wants you to reach out. I mean, let me look into it.
We're trying to do the same. And the people we've hired for this, I could not possibly be more confident it's going to be a big deal.
Which is all to say that at some point, you, Ben Collins, head of The Onion, CEO of Global Tetrahedron, is going to get the keys to that studio. And you're going to get to walk into Alex Jones's headquarters and do whatever you want with it.
Yeah. And these families too. You know, if I'm hoping we get access to the actual facility and it's not like booby trapped or whatever, but like they can go in there whenever they want and, you know, put their feet up if they want. And that is important to me and hopefully to them, that they get to be able to do that and feel like, you know, what happened to them won't happen to anybody else.
Ben Collins, thank you for
The Onion lies again. Falsely claims control over Infowars. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Band.video Infowars store. All right, chat. Well, I have a puppy that needs to be taken out and a puppy that needs attention, and they're somehow different puppies. So we are going to go. Oh, perfect. Actual Jake is streaming. We were just talking about Jake. We're going to go over, go send a raid their way. Keep an eye on the channel. We got a couple videos coming up. I will probably do a video summary of the whole Alex Jones drama. So if you haven't seen that, if you're not familiar, go over and do that. That'd be pretty cool. Oh, actually, let's go say hi to Casey Tron. We haven't chatted with Casey in a minute. Go over, say hi. Thank y'all for having a good one. And I hope